Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Smash the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill every single time. How you doing everyone? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're okay. The season's over. The season is over. The worst season ever in the Premier League if you're a Spurs fan. That was absolute dog shit of the highest level. And the scum from South London won the league as well, just to top it all off. I mean, how you doing, everyone? How you feeling? No more football for at least 2 months in the Premier League. We've got a World Cup to watch and all the transfer news. And will Spurs actually stick to a project or plan? Do they know what they're doing? We're going to get into it because we've had a statement from the club that everyone's been talking about, but I need to talk about it. Okay, your boy Stelios needs to talk about it. Let me quickly say hello to a few of you in the chat. I hope you're good. I hope you're all okay. Sporting Journey, how are you, my man? Good morning, Stel. At the time of writing this message, hope you're well and enjoying it where you are. Looking forward to tonight's show. Absolutely. Remember to like the show, subscribe, thumb, button, do it all. Like, subscribe. Daryl Denton in the house. How you doing, Daryl? City season started, seeing the same names we're linked to. I'm going to be discussing some transfers and speculation on a daily basis. I'm going to do 1 or 2 videos this week, but then next week I'm going to start doing it a bit more. Nobody, it's me. Stel is a fake fan. Imagine calling someone a fake fan and then choosing to watch them. What's more fake? Calling someone fake or watching people you call fake? Interesting. Logan, how are you? Evening, Stel and chat. Big up, big up. RTHFC, big up, Stel, big up to you. Sadly, I don't think our board learned anything from this past season. Look, you all know my position, okay? I wanted us to get relegated because I felt the only way this board is ever going to change its way is if they really suffer financial pain. Because one thing I've learned about Enoch is when we drop out of Europe, they invest to get back into Europe. When we're top 4, they don't do anything. And this season, on the brink of relegation, they've thrown £60 million at De Zerbi to save us. So when we are in trouble, that's when they spend. So we're going to spend. But when we get to a good place, that's when it's all going to go wrong, because that's what they always do. So I was of the belief, if we just go down, that kind of financial destruction is going to force them in so many ways that finally will get changed. But we're in the Premier League, and I think it's going to be rinse and repeat. Management is feeding us lies, less words, more action. Enoch Lewis, Vinay Lange, and the medical department out. I 100% agree with you. Jimmy Hotspur, big up Stel. England hotter than Cyprus today, mate. I tell you what, you don't have the beach, all right? You don't have the sea. You don't even have air conditioning. England is baking right now. It's like a heat wave. Global warming is real. Donald Trump said there's no global warming. No. It's all fake news. It's all fake. The problem is some Spurs fans are lapping this up. Yeah, they are. They are. Big Les in the house. How you doing? Big up Stel. Relegation will be well and truly on next season after another piss poor window. I don't think it will. I think we're going to be all right next season. From this pathetic club and its horrendous owners, that I agree with. Enough of the gaslighting. Oh, mate. When we get into it, when we discuss Peter Charrington's non-executive chairman's statement, it is massive levels of gaslighting. Honestly, it is political spin at its worst. How you doing, Sue? Hope you're well. They can only gaslight you if you allow them to. I don't believe a word our owners say. Wouldn't trust a rattlesnake more than any of them. Yeah. The thing is, our fans do lap it up, Sue. That's the issue, isn't it? That's the problem we have. Just so Mayo. De Zerbi will not allow it. I was talking to Big Les. Well, De Zerbi will walk. Looking good still. Hope you're enjoying Greece. It's Cyprus, but I don't mind a bit of confusion. Sanilla, how you doing? Thanks for your generous super chat last night on the Spurs 5, by the way. What's up, Stels? Good to see you. Good to hear from you as well. Kale Darnage showing off his Greek by saying Galispera. Who have we got here? Warren O'Driscoll. Still, you need to get Starlink. Listen, I've paid for the most powerful internet available in Cyprus. The problem I've got is I'm waiting for the telecommunications company to come here and pull the wire from underneath the road and then hook it to the internet box I've got outside the house. 3 months and they still haven't come to do it. I was on the phone with them today saying, what am I paying for? Like, this is, I know in the Mediterranean things are a bit slow, but this is insane. 3 months and you still haven't done it. So I don't need Starlink. I just need the company over here to just pull their fingers out. Stel, are you going on your own, Stel, with YouTube? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, to answer your question. Fuck that Dross Woolwich football. Yeah, but they won the league, though. All the bullcrap stories will start to flow, yeah. The best guy ever. If you're talking about me, God bless you. If you're not, who are you talking about? We've got John Shivers Gilzine in the house. Big up, still. Hope you're good, bro. I hope you're good too. Joe 90. I thought of you as soon as I saw that vomit-inducing letter by Harrington. Mate, you knew what was coming from me, right? You just knew it. Schmeck. Is that your name? Is it Simek? Simek. Big up. Big up to you as well. I still don't trust Enoch, never. Enoch out. Absolutely. Who we got in the house? Gary Speed, how are you? Long time. Hi, Stelos. I'm just hearing on Wise Lange has been given the push. Yeah. Until I see it, I don't believe it. Thing is, the guy that we're looking at replacing him with from Borussia Dortmund is nothing special. It's like we're replacing one person that's not good enough for someone else that isn't going to be that good enough either. So I'm not too sure what we're doing. In fact, I know we don't know what we're doing. It's always the way. Still, what's the future of the Spurs 5? It's going to carry on with Johnny and Lubo. They're going to try and bring in some other people. Otherwise, they're going to do it with regular guests. So the Spurs 5 will continue. I'll be a guest on there once in a while. So will Sean. It's just not going to be us four every single week anymore. Got some very loud thunder going on right now. I hope the rain comes with it. Is that in the UK, Sue? I think you're in the UK, aren't you? Jimmy says, question, Stelios, realistically, how many ins and outs are you expecting this summer? 4 or 5 in, 5 or 6 out, something like that. Good luck, Stel, with going on your own, pal. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Imran, happy you, man, are staying guaranteed 6 points and need those 4 points taken away from City. Big up, Stel. I don't think you're going to get 6 points off us next season. I don't think you'll do it next year. We'll lose at your ground, but I don't think you beat us at our ground. I think things will be different under De Zerbi. Doesn't mean we're going to win anything, but I don't think we're just going to bend over like we did this year. Like this year was the worst I've seen Arsenal just trash all over Tottenham. We literally pulled our pants down at the Emirates and at White Hart Lane for Arsenal. Made me sick. I really hope you're right, Stel, but sadly, I think next season will be the one that sends us down. The thing is, De Zerbi's good enough to get enough points from this squad. He's just... So I don't think we will go down next season. I don't. Listen, Les, if we do, there's going to be conversations to be had, isn't there? There's going to be conversations to be had. How you doing, Fran? Wonder how long it'll take for us to make our first actual signing. I'm saying late July. Well, the difficulty is it's the World Cup. If we're serious, we'll get a couple in before the World Cup. But are we serious? No. Guys, listen, everyone in the chat, pick up. Thanks for being here. SG101. Who else? Curly Norman, how are you? Aaron Hills. Let's get into it. I want to discuss Ole Ole, best shows ever. You know it. So what have we got here? We've got a situation where this guy here, Mr. Peter Charrington, the non-executive chairman, who hasn't said a bloody word all year, literally as soon as the season ended, bang, that letter was ready to go, right? That was prepared ages ago. They were just waiting to see if we got relegated or if we were in the Premier League before they released that statement. They probably had another statement in case we got relegated, right? You know, plan A, plan B. Which statement do we go with? So It's not from the heart. It's not sincere. It's corporate. It's emotionless. And it's what Tottenham always do, PR. The first thing is, why isn't Vinay Venkateshian, the guy who's supposed to be the actual chairman, the man who's supposed to be improving fan engagement and was really good with the fans at Arsenal, why isn't he talking to us? He was happy to sit on a YouTube video with Daniel Levy at the start of the season saying, I could really see in your eyes, Daniel, what it meant to win that Europa Cup. I really know what this club means to you. Right, you're happy doing all that for the fans, but why aren't you the one writing these letters? Where's the YouTube video from Vinay now? Right, nothing. So Vinay, I don't know what he does at this club. I actually have no idea what he does. Nothing from Lange. And what's really interesting about the statement from Charrington, which we're going to get into, nowhere in his statement did he say, I'm sorry. At no stage did the non-executive chairman who overruled everyone so that he could write the statement, not Lange, not Vinay, not this Belcher, not the Lewis kids, not the Lewis family. Charrington's the one that decided, I'm going to be the communication to the fans. Not once in his statement did he say, I am sorry. I apologize. Nothing. So that's why I say to you, there's nothing sincere about this. It's not from the heart. It's corporate. Because if it was from the heart, the first thing you'd say is, I'm so sorry. I'm genuinely sorry for what we did. Nothing. So that's my first issue with this word salad of a PR spin that they've dished out to us. Let's get the actual statement up. Right, so this is off the Tottenham Hotspur website. We're going to break it down bit by bit. If you've got any questions as we go along, guys, just chuck it in the chat and I'll star, or as we say, well, we say star because we're doing the shows, but so we'll say, I'll save your messages and then I'll come back to them as we go along, all right? So, dear supporters, on Sunday, despite a season that gave you so little, you gave everything, a full stadium, full voice, full belief, until the final whistle. I have thought carefully. No, you haven't thought about this carefully because it's not from the heart, mate. I have thought carefully about how to begin this letter, and in the end, that moment said it better than I can. Does that mean that he used ChatGPT then? It said it. That moment said it better than I can. So who wrote about that moment then? Was it you? Or was it your secretary? Who wrote it then, Peter? It's why we owe you honesty about where we have fallen short and what we are committed to now. No, you schmuck. You owe us an apology. I don't want your honesty because you lie. You're all liars, right? We want an apology. I am sorry. Forgive us, please. I'm sorry. My apologies. Here's a discount on your season tickets. Here's 25% off on the club shop. Give us something and an apology. No. What do we get? It's why I owe you honesty. So you haven't been honest with us until now. Like, think about this, guys. I owe you honesty, okay? I owe you honesty. So you've not been honest all along then. What are we doing here? Already we've started off with lies, admitting that I wasn't honest in the past, but I owe you honesty now, and not even an apology. I hate the way they've started this letter. It doesn't connect with the fans, and this isn't what we want to hear. Let's be honest about it. This isn't what we as a fan base want to hear. I owe you honesty. No, you owe me an apology, mate. Because those scumbags down the road have just won the league, and you humiliated us. Like, the worst season ever, right? It beggars belief. And as we go on, it gets worse, by the way. It's almost as if he took Daniel Levy's statement and reworded it. Last September, we recognised that something seismic had to change at Spurs. The Lewis family stepped in and authorised a full reset. That decision was not taken lightly, and it came later than it should have. I don't care. I do not give a iota what you think needs to be reset. I don't care if it wasn't something that we took lightly. Seismic change was needed. The Lewis family stepped in. You've been here for 25 years. The Lewis family have been here for 25 years. And now, after 25 years, now they've recognized that change is needed. These people are unforgivable, man. Unforgivable. They take us for idiots. But the thing is, the cat's out the bag. A lot more Spurs fans know this is bullshit. We've been fed this kind of narrative so many times, it doesn't wash. It just doesn't land. If Peter Charrington was talking to us face to face and he said, "Let me land, bro. Let me land," we'd say, no. You're not allowed to land. You never land. The runway's shut. The runway is closed for you, Peter. But what has been put in motion is real, and it marks a genuine break from what has come before. What? By signing Sousa. By signing Sousa in January. By signing Colin Gallagher when we needed goal scorers. By signing another kid. So you've recognized something seismic has to change. This decision hasn't come lightly. But what has been put in motion is real, and it marks a genuine break from the old. That January window stunk of the same old, same old. So don't tell me genuine break. And don't tell me you've recognized that change needs to happen, because the same thing happened. In fact, that January window is one of the reasons we ended up in a relegation scrap. As part of that process, we discovered some uncomfortable truths. The qualities that make Spurs distinct, our football, our ambition, the connection between the team and its supporters had been allowed to fade. You didn't know that before. You didn't know for the last 5 years that Spurs have been slowly going downwards. Since the day you sacked Pochettino, the day that you didn't give Mourinho the cup final, the day you brought in Conte and didn't give him the players he needed, the day a manager wins us a European trophy and you sack him for Frank, the day you sat there in front of all of us fans and said to us, we've gone through a rigorous process to identify the next Spurs manager. We've gone through a robust checklist. And after putting all the data and all the analysis, we said that Thomas Frank is the man. Are you kidding me? After all of that, now you've discovered some uncomfortable truths. Now, what did you think happened when Mourinho got sacked? What did you think when Stellini was in charge? What did you think when Ryan Mason took over the club twice? What did you think when Conte gave a 10-minute rant telling you the problems, telling you the truth? Conte told us the uncomfortable truths, right? Look at this bit. We discovered some uncomfortable truths. Conte told you 3 years ago. Stop lying. Stop bullshitting the fan base, man. And then people go to me still, why do you want relegation? Why do you want us to go down? Because I'm sick of this. This is what we get if we stay up. This is what we're going to be fed now. We discovered some uncomfortable truths. Oh my God. Conte told you the truth for 10 minutes. Now you discover it. Maybe someone sent them a link to Conte's rant and they've only just seen the Conte rant. I don't know. Something doesn't add up here, right? Football success had not been driving our decisions. Shit the bed and call me Frank. What have I been saying for 6 years? What has Brian Daigle been saying for 6 years? What has Danny Kaye been saying for 6 years? What has everyone from Tottenham Away, Maz, Iggy, JP, Mari, what have we been saying for 6 years? What have all the protesters, the Grahams, the Billies, the Richards, the Andrews, the Ben Kaufmans, the Ryan Isaacs, what have we all been saying for the last 6 years. 6 years. What have we been saying? This club doesn't make decisions based on football. It makes decisions based on money. Oh my fucking God. Like, I'm going to explode, guys. I'm actually going to explode. I'm going to blow up on the screen. Maybe not in the cave. Yeah, probably not the best place to explode. Actually, no, if I blow up in the cave, no one else gets hurt. Anyway, football success had not been driving our decisions. Daniel Levy 3 years ago sat in front of a panel and said, I took my eye off the ball. I was too focused on the stadium. Even he admitted it. Daniel Levy admitted it 3 years ago. Conte told everyone a few years ago, the protesters, you know, those scumbags, those tossers, those racists, those nasty people. That's what we got called, right? That's what we got called. We told you they don't run the club based on football. We said this. And now Peter Charrington comes out and says what we've all been saying. They're bullshitters, man. They're bullshitters. They're absolute bullshitters. Honestly, man. Honestly, we've got the worst ownership in English football. The worst football in English football. The worst ownership in English football. I don't care what anyone says. We discovered some uncomfortable truths. Footballing success has not been driving our decisions. Fuck my life. People, fuck my life. And when we were trying to say it, when we were all saying these things, we got told to do one because everyone at Tottenham is a sheep. I haven't even got to the second paragraph, and already I'm there's steam coming out of my ears. Right, let's get back to this waffle. We did not have the right expertise in key roles. So when everyone was saying the medical team's a problem, when everyone's saying the scouting's the problem, when everyone's saying the recruitment's the problem, I guess they're the key roles that he's talking about. That once again, you know, we've only been saying it for the best part of 5 years, all right? We do not build squads good enough to compete in the most demanding league in the world. Correct. But yet you're happy to blame managers and keep sacking them. 2 17th place finishes in a row is not acceptable. 2 trophies in 25 years is not acceptable. 2 Mickey Mouse trophies in 25 years is not acceptable. Why don't you talk about trophies? Why aren't you talking about success? And this is why I hate this statement. No apology, no mention of silverware. This is the same old shit all over again. Here we go again. I can't believe it. He's talking about 17th is unacceptable. Tell me that not winning, and we haven't won an FA Cup in over 30 years. That is unacceptable. Why don't you say that, Peter? And then maybe the fans might connect with you. Maybe the fans might feel something for what you're saying. But no, you want to talk about where we are in the league. Okay. All right. And we will not dress it up as anything other than falling well short of what this club expects. I don't think we expect anything anymore, if I'm honest with you. Since September, we have restructured leadership across the club with a refreshed executive and football structure. Well, this Belcher guy is a property developer. You, Charrington, are a finance advisor to Joe Lewis. Vinay, I don't know what Vinay is. I think he's a puppet. Lange, I'm not allowed to say what Lange is because I'll get shut down. But you can guess what kind of words I'd like to use there. And as for the Lewis kids and everything else, I have no idea what anyone does. But clearly, it's not a very good job. So what have you restructured? What have you restructured? Most of this team are already in post and others will arrive in the coming weeks. But this is the same team that's let us down this year. And by the way, this is the worst bit coming up now, right? If you go into group chats, Facebook chats, WhatsApp chats, if any of you go into different groups and have conversations about this statement, This is the bit you really need to you really need to focus in on, okay? The board are committed to this leadership group and will give them the stability and support they need to run this club the right way. Guys, not the manager. Not the manager. Not the recruitment officer. Not the fan advisory board. No. The board are committed to the leadership group. The fucking leadership group. You've got to be committed to the manager. You've got to be committed to the recruitment officer. You've got to be committed to the fans. Like, just read this shit. This is the kind of stuff that goes over people's heads. They'll just read that bit and it won't even compute what he's just said. The board are committed to the leadership group. We are fucked. We are so toast, man. I need to take a break. Let me go through a few comments. Enoch out, guys. We won the battle by staying up. Now we have to win the war and pressure Enoch. I don't think anything's going to happen soon. Big up to all the coys. Big up to you as well, Scott. Stel, talk to us nicely now. You hold that. Oh, is this the Arsenal? Listen, you've got a great ownership. What can I say? The Cronkies are the best in the business. By the way, I'm doing a video on the Cronkies compared to Enoch on Friday. You might want to check that one out, Angus. Come join me on Friday because, listen, I can't lie. The Cronkies are the best football owners right now. Our owners they're the worst. I've always hated Levy since he sacked Martin Joel. Daniel Levy. Still, I hope that night in Bilbao was worth it. That is the only highlight of my Spurs life in the last 15 years, mate. That and the Lucas Moura semi-final, because none of us thought we'd get to the final. So that was one to remember. But that's not really success, but still, from an emotional perspective, Ajax away is right up there. Emotionally, of course. Never forget what Levy did to Poch. I will never forget not allowing Poch to rebuild this team. It amazes me that the fan base is completely blind to it all. They don't want to hear it, Les. They don't want to hear it. They just want vibes and socializing and beer and hope. We're weak. We're a weak fan base, man. We're a weak fan base. Come on, Stel, for the last 6 years, been bented and I say you're finished above Arsenal many times in a row. That's an achievement to us. To you lot. The fact people still want to buy season tickets after seeing this club statement is beyond me still. Like I said, our fan base wants vibes, socializing, beer. That's what we've become. We're not like the other big clubs. Our fan base is not like the other big clubs. You know, it's not something I like to admit. It's not something I want to say because people hate me when I say stuff like this. You know, I genuinely get a lot of hate for saying this stuff, but it's the truth. Those fans demand success. They demand glory, and they measure success by trophies. We just want a good day out, really. We just want to, you know, celebrate the fact that we're alive, which isn't a bad thing. But that's not what big clubs do, right? And people still go against you. Our fans are so fucking dumb. Oh, you said it, not me, but I don't disagree. We are Spurs TV. You can't blow up in your bunker. Do you know, I was having that conversation in my head as I was contemplating exploding. But anyway, back to Tottenham. How you doing, Ghost? LDN. Lange will probably come out in September and say there was no one we could get to improve the squad. Listen, I think we're going to sign some decent players. I honestly believe under De Zerbi, this is what's going to happen. We're going to play good football. We're going to sign some good players. We're going to get rid of some of the deadwood. And we're going to get back to being a top 4 club in the next 2, 3, 4 years, right? At some point, we're going to do it. The problem is when we get there, then what? Redknapp got top 4. Poch got top 4 every year. Conte got top 4. We never once then said, let's try and win the league. Let's go and sign a Declan Rice. Let's go and sign a Bruno Fernandes. Let's go and sign, you know, players that move the needle. We'll go and sign Lo Celso. We'll go and sign a Sessegnon. We'll go and sign a Joe Rodon. What the fuck are we doing? De Zerbi will get us back to where we want to be if you're about the money. If it's about trophies, that's the bit that's not going to happen. But I think fans are going to be super happy with that. I think fans are going to be super, super happy with it. AC Milan yesterday sacked their manager, DOF, CEO, and scouts for finishing 5th in Serie A. That is what you call a reset, a proper football club. And I was going to bring that up. You're spot on. Look at AC Milan. Because they didn't get Europe, AC Milan have sacked all the figures at the club because they didn't get Champions League. Massimo Allegri, gone. Giorgio Fulani, gone. Tare, gone. Jeffrey Mercado, all of them. Everyone. Clean out. See you later. We've got standards. We're a big club. We demand better. Tottenham, Lange's still here, trying to sign Robertson, which we wanted for Frank. So Lange is still here trying to do club signings. Vinay's still the chairman. The Lewis kids are here. Charrington's here being a financial advisor. Belcher's here, belching. Property investment, real estate developer. And yet we've got the chairman telling us most of this team are already in post and others will arrive. You need to get rid of people. What are you talking about? Lange should have been sacked in January. Vinay should have been sacked this morning. What are we doing? Talking about we've got most of the team in place already. Anyway, let's crack on with this. Guys, smash the like, subscribe. Thanks for being here. Much love to all of you. If you do live in the UK, look after yourselves. That heat can get a little bit dangerous. This is the worst bit, right? The board are committed to this leadership group. Oh, my God. Okay, so Roberto De Zerbi has signed as head coach for 5 years, a reflection of our belief in his ability and our commitment to build back to where we need to be. You mean your panic and fear of getting relegated? Because that's why you brought him in and paid him insane amount of money. You had to break the bank and pay over the odds because you feared relegation. That's why he's here. And he holds all the cards because you gave him a 5-year contract, 60 million quid. Otherwise, he would not have come. De Zerbi came because he got a 5-year deal and he got paid ridiculous money on his terms. Let's have it right. Okay? Let's have it right. He is passionate, committed, and positive. I agree. I like De Zerbi, people. I like De Zerbi. I'm very happy with our head coach. He represents the kind of football and ambition that Tottenham Hotspur should stand for. Yeah, Tottenham should. All righty. Are you ready for the sales pitch? Are you ready for the marketing spin, everyone? Buckle up. This is the best bit now. This is where we should all get excited. Our commitments to you are clear. Let's do it one by one. Right? These are the commitments. This is the 5-point manifesto, not Lubo's 7-point manifesto. This is the Peter Charrington 5-point manifesto. Manifesto point number 1. We will build a squad. You're supposed to build a squad. You're supposed to build a squad. That's like saying we will brush our teeth in the morning. You're supposed to brush your teeth. It's called hygiene. It's called staying alive and not getting tooth decay. We will build a squad. Just imagine a football club telling you we're going to build a squad. Led by Roberto as head coach with the right blend of experience, youth, and leadership to compete at the highest level. I just want to say one thing, right? Here where it says with the right blend of experience, youth, and leadership. If you want to build with experience and leadership, you do not let Paulinho leave the club. This is a player that has got experience. This is a player that also has leadership. You cannot let Paulinho leave if this bit here of your manifesto, build the squad with experience and leadership, is true. If that is true, you keep Paulinho. If this is bullshit, then Paulinho is going to walk because you've let him walk. But remember, everyone, we're going to build a squad. We're a football club and we're going to build a squad. Okay. Manifesto point number 2. We will invest across multiple transfer windows. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what every club does. Every club invests in transfer windows. What are you telling us? Like, what are you actually telling us? We will invest across multiple transfer windows to rebuild, balance, and strengthen, with this summer representing an important first step. So we're going to build a squad, which is what you're supposed to do. We're going to invest in transfers, which is what you're supposed to do. So nothing new here. There's nothing new at all here that none of us are wowed by, right? We're going to brush our teeth, and when we go to the toilet, we're going to wipe our backsides as well. How's about that? So we're going to brush our teeth and wipe our bums. Cheers, Peter. You legend. We will continue to modernize our football operation with a significant focus on raising standards across our medical and performance. The same medical team that crashed the club this year. Manifesto point number 4. We will increase investment in the academy to ensure that the pathway from youth football to the first team is one of the strongest in the country. Right. Daniel Levy said that we've lost our way and we need to start embracing the youth and the academy. We've got our Tottenham back. Do you remember when Daniel Levy said that? This is the same bullshit that Daniel Levy said, but reworded. Let's reframe the same point, but we're delivering the exact same lie. You don't need to increase investment in the academy, right? You do not need to increase investment in the academy. You do not need to do that. You need to stop buying shit like Tell and Moani and Odebert that blocks the pathway for our academy players. You do not spend £40 million on Archie Gray. Go and sign a proven Premier League quality player with that money, and you can get a youngster from the youth academy to try and develop. That's what you do. You don't invest in the academy. You stop blocking the pathway by signing young players that are not good enough. So this whole comment here, we will increase investment in the academy. That's wrong. That's not the problem. This is a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. And the last manifesto point, we will build on a strong season for Spurs women by continuing to invest in a world-class women's team led by Martin Ho. No disrespect to the women's team. No disrespect to trying to grow the women's team. But the anger this year, the frustration, and just the overall dissatisfaction is because of the men's team, right? There's not really many issues with the women's team. The men's team is broken. Our commitments to you: build a squad, invest in transfers, modernize the football operation, increase investment in the academy. Guys, what a load of bollocks. What an absolute load of bullshit that is. Not we're going to win the Premier League in 5 years. Not we're going to try and get more trophies in the cabinet because 2 in 25 years is a disgrace. Not we're going to rebuild the recruitment team that has let us down. Not we're going to start listening to our fans. None of that. No. None of that. None of that. No. We're going to build a squad. We're going to invest in transfers. And we're going to invest in the academy. Like I said, that's like saying, I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to wipe my bum. And do you know what else I'm going to do? Every night, I'm going to eat dinner. You're supposed to eat. You're supposed to brush your teeth. You're supposed to clean your ass. You're supposed to eat. There's nothing in this commitment that is new or unheard of at Tottenham. We always spend money on transfers, but badly. We always build a squad, but just a shit one. What I need to be hearing is we are committed to signing talent. We are committed to having a proper recruitment team. We are committed to not sacking managers. We are committed to a plan. We are committed to winning trophies. We are committed to you, the fans. He doesn't say any of that. None of his commitments are what fans want. In my opinion, none of these commitments hit home. They don't land. It's bullshit. The whole thing is a nonsense. Tell me what you think. Am I overcooking this? Am I going over the top? Or do you think I've got a point? Do you agree? Do you agree? Spot on, John. A statement that states the fucking obvious. Spot on. If you had to summarize this statement, it's this. Stating the fucking obvious. I can't add any more. This nails it. This comment here nails it right on the head. Spurs need to spend big time, but we need to spend properly. Tottenham in the last 5 years have been walking around with death mouth and no deodorant. And that's why we need to brush our teeth. Big up Mike Zappa. There were 2 letters that were written. Vinay lost the coin toss and had to write the other letter and put his name on it. That's how Tottenham runs, right? Another failed upload says all fluff from the board to get the season ticket holders to keep their tickets and then insert the lies they have done year in year. Yep, spot on. I think Charrington used ChatGPT. I think so too. Stel, sadly, you are talking to the converted. We know what Enoch are about, profit. What is the practical way to get rid of them? Listen, relegation would have changed them. To get rid of them, the fan base needs to be united behind huge protests, massive boycotts. But like I've said to you during the show, our fans are different to the other big clubs. We're not going to do it. We don't have the demand for success as a fan base. We simply don't. So we're stuck with the bastards. I don't know. I've tried, man. I've tried. A lot of fans have tried, but not enough. Charrington is just another politically correct point Dexter. Sick of these twat board members, yep. Well, he's Joe Lewis's financial advisor. This guy's an investment banker. He's not a football man. The fan base have already lapped it up. Chris Cowling's reverted to form. Chris Cowling's a plonker. Honestly, that guy, if I could draw the perfect Enoch fan that prevents us from being successful and fans from actually doing something, is Chris Cowling. Chris Cowling stinks. Like, he stinks. That's all I'm going to say about him. Everyone hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much, Lee. Only football man on the board is Lange, and he's crappish. Yeah. The only guy we've got who is a football man and he's crap. Still, this is just breaking. Lange is on his way. Send me a link. I want to see the link. But listen, Lange has to go, right? Lange has to go. My concern is the guy from Dortmund isn't anything special. Right? There's nothing wow about that guy. The guy we need to go and get is Pinto from Bournemouth. The football director at Bournemouth. He's the one we need. He's performed miracles at that club. Bournemouth lost their entire defence. Their player of the season, Hosen, went to Real Madrid. They finished 6th. They actually got better. and they flogged Solanke to us for 60 million. I want a football director that sells shit players for 60 million. I want that. That's the guy we need, not the guy from Dortmund. I'm looking forward to the window was too difficult. We tried hard. I'll tell you what, Brian Daigle, he loves all that. He loves all those buzzwords. He's got a game for it. Transfer window buzzword or something. What about the Tottenham store? I don't know. I went in it once to see what it's like. I've never been in it again. Enoch pays someone to clean their asses still. They're rich who remember. Yeah, okay. It's true. It's true. Just a load of woke corporate jargon that nobody wants to hear. Mate, it's awful. There's nothing in here that's new, though. There's nothing that's groundbreaking. There's nothing that's different. The commitments are just so weak and basic. It's not what I want to hear. I need to hear about trophies. I need to hear about sticking to a plan. I need to hear about a new way of recruiting. I need to hear about academy players actually getting a chance. None of that is in the commitments. They haven't committed to fuck all. They've committed, we're going to build a squad. You've always built a squad. It's shit. They've committed to investing in a transfer window. We always invest in a transfer window. We're just bad at it. And they've committed to investing in the academy. You don't need to invest in the academy. You need to stop blocking the pathway. Since becoming chairman, I have realized that Spurs fans are built differently. Yeah, we give you what you want. We don't protest. I have seen it over and over again in the last 9 months across every generation in every conversation. Now he's trying to suck up to the fan base, isn't he? This is where the rod goes into the pond and he starts reeling in the fish. This is preaching to the sheep, guys. This is preaching to the sheep. Spurs fans are built differently across all generations. Even in the darkest of seasons, you showed up and carried this team. We've been carrying this team for 3 decades. That loyalty is not something we take for granted. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You liars. You've been taking us for granted for God knows how long. It is something we are determined to be worthy of. Oh, my Lord. Do you know what? That is what they call in the corporate world professional butt kissing. I know there's a lot of arse on tonight. We're talking about asses being wiped, Enoch paying for their asses to being wiped. But that is professional arse kissing right there. That is one big straight off the lips of Peter Charrington, that is. This is interesting, this bit. There has been speculation about ownership and the future direction of the club. Let us be direct. Let us be direct. Tottenham Hotspur is not for sale. So, you know all those people that said to me, and I'm sure you saw these conversations on all the different YouTube shows that you watch, because everyone in the chat watches lots of shows. I watch shows as well. You know when people said to me, why do you want us to get relegated? They're not going to sell when we get relegated. And I said, yeah, probably not. I don't think they want to sell, which is why we need to force it. But we don't want to force it. So relegation might force their behavior to change because of the financial distress. What I was always told by so many people, if we stay up, there's a much better chance they'll sell. If we stay up, they'll get the price they want. And for Enoch to sell Tottenham, we've got to stay up. We have stayed up, right? We have stayed up. Change for Tottenham, put up banners in the stadium, Lange out, Vinay out, change. So change for Tottenham have put up their banners on the last game of the season. We've stayed up, and the next day, literally the next day, Tottenham put out a message saying, we are not for sale. So to all those people that were saying to me, we've got a better chance of selling if we stay up. If we stay up, they're going to sell because they don't want to deal with this anymore. Can you now please acknowledge it was nonsense what you were saying to me? Can you just acknowledge that you were just using it as an argument against me and you didn't know what you were talking about, or you simply believed something that wasn't true? Because we have stayed up and the next day they tell us we're not selling. We have stayed up and Change for Tottenham have put up banners in the stadium saying get out, and the club have responded with we are not selling. This was my fear. This is what I knew they were going to do. This is what I was saying in a lot of the conversations. They don't want to sell. They're not going to sell. And the reason I know they don't want to sell is simple. If you own a business, okay, let's say you own a restaurant. We're going to call it the Steak Shack. You own a restaurant called the Steak Shack. And the steaks are always burnt. The mashed potato isn't even mashed potato, it's instant mash. And I'm going to bring on Sean in just a minute. Just going to finish my little speech here. And the drinks are never served at the right temperature. The Coca-Cola is warm. The red wine is cold. It's just not good food. But you keep coming back. You keep coming back and saying, I want more steak. Give me more burnt steak. Give me more instant mash, not real mashed potato. And give me another warm glass of non-fizzy Coca-Cola. Why would you sell that restaurant? You don't have to serve up good food. It doesn't matter how many bad reviews you get. Your restaurant's always packed. Why would you sell that restaurant? Imagine turning up to work, doing a shit job and being packed. And that's why I said ENIC won't want to sell, because we as the customers of Tottenham, that's what we are, we get served up shit and we come back for more and more. Yeah, get me that new Spurs jersey. Yeah, give me another season ticket. Yeah, give me an away ticket. Yeah, I'll be at that cup game that we're going to get battered in. Give me more. That's why I knew ENIC weren't going to sell. This was my argument all along with everyone, but no one listened to that bit. All everyone ever says is, oh, you wanted Tottenham to get relegated because you've said they're going to sell up. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Anyway, the point being, people, Tottenham Hotspur is not for sale. I did try and say this, but anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to finish this last paragraph. Then I'm going to bring in Sean Butler. The Lewis family are wholly committed to this club and to this rebuild. I think they're committed to their finances, not what we want as fans. They will provide stability and investment needed at every level to move us forward. With all due respect, as much as I hate him, not hate, that's a strong word, as much as I wanted him gone and he's gone, Levy did make us stable. So if they wanted stability, they wouldn't have sacked Daniel. If that's what they want, they wouldn't have sacked Daniel, and they would have brought in a proper replacement to work with Daniel for a year to hand over the processes and systems. That's not what happened. So from someone that doesn't like Levy, and I'm glad he's gone, for Charrington to say they're going to provide stability is an absolute bollocks of a comment to make, right? Nonsense. And in fact, let me reread this bit because I've stopped mid-sentence. They will provide the stability and the investment needed at every level to move us forward, and they see that as a long-term responsibility, not a short-term fix. I mean, that's a much of nothing, really. All right, let me bring in Sean, and then I'll finish off the rest of this statement. Right, let's bring in the ENIC-loving, the Levy-supporting, the nemesis of the Stelligation movement.
Stell, what have I just heard? What absolute waffle have you just tried to spin? What are you talking about? Why are you doing it? I tried to tell everybody that if we stayed up, they weren't going to sell.
Yes. I never said they're going to sell if we go down. I never said that. I never said they're going to sell, did I? I said that.
Why does them pulling out a statement saying that they're not for sale when we stay up mean that going down that would have been different? What are we doing here? Logic.
No. Come on. No. You didn't listen to what I said.
I did. I listened to every word. The spin is insane, bro.
You're disappointed that I was proven right, so you've got to come in here and just go at it, right? Chip away at it. What I said was, if we go down,
oh come on.
If we go down, I would love them to sell, but I don't see them doing that because until the whole fan base turns against them, the customers. Why would you sell a business that constantly?
So they were never going to sell either way. They were never going to sell either way.
Correct. No, correct. Yes, I agree. Yes, that's the point.
So why are you celebrating that you were right? Why are you celebrating that you were right?
Because the argument against me, wanting relegation to force them to change behaviour, the argument that was put against me from many fans was, but if we stay up, there's more chance they'll sell then. Because they'll get the money they want. And I said, what are we doing here? And now...
No, the argument that I made against you, the argument that most people made against you was that this assumption that people that are incompetent, who then have to go down to the championship, who have less resources in which to continue their incompetence, under your supposition, are suddenly going to be able to turn on the competence switch like it's a choice. And there's absolutely you can't. If you're incompetent, you're incompetent. It doesn't matter what standard you're playing football. They're
not. But they're incompetent in phases, right? When we're in financial distress, so when we're not in Europe, when we drop off, when we're in a relegation battle, we invest more money in those seasons than when we finish top four. Look at the amount of money.
It's not about investing money still. It's about how we invest it. That's never been great according to you.
But Sean, they always bounce back. They drop off, they get back to top six. They drop off, they get back to top four. We almost got relegated. Right, 60 million for De Zerbi. They'll change some bits. They'll get us back into Europe, whether it's next year, the year after. We'll get back to Europe eventually. Yeah, that's my point. The only reason they fix things is because the finances have been hurt.
Even if that's true,
by being relegated, it is true. It happens all the time.
Even I'm not sure it is, but even if it is, I'll work with you on your own.
Sean, tell me. No, hold on. No, 1 minute.
I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it for the moment.
All right.
Let's assume that it's true. How does going down to the championship force a permanent change in behaviour?
Because the financial hit they'll take will be seismic.
Right.
Seismic. The only way they can get that money back is by getting us back into the Premier League and not coming back down straight away. They've got to actually build a proper team. And for them, they've spent 25 years trying to get Tottenham to be a so-called Big Six club, to suddenly see it all fade away, most of it, by dropping down. Yeah, they're not going to sit there and take that. They're going to have to fall.
By your logic, they turn around, they make some better decisions, they buy some better players, they trust the youth, whatever it is. They get back into the Premier League. They then spend the next season, they're back in the Premier League trying to survive relegation. But hopefully some of the decisions they made in that learning lesson, that learning period, and then they get back to 10th, they get back to 4th, they get to the Champions League spots. And then what? All of a sudden, they're pushing for a championship, for a title?
Well, for me, I don't know what
there's nothing about the championship experience that makes them better at their jobs once they get back to the place that you said has always been the ceiling.
Listen, you make a great point. I don't know what they do when we get there. That's the honest truth. I don't know. But for me, I know what happens this way. And the fact they've put this statement out sums it all up for me. This statement is being criticised by everyone. This is what it looks like staying up. This is what it looks like.
Sure. No, I hear you, but again, you're betting the house.
Sure, it doesn't matter because we've stayed up. It doesn't matter. We've stayed up.
But you're spending. The only reason I jumped on, and I would like to have come on earlier, and I would like to stay on longer than I can. But the only reason I really wanted to jump in was because I just heard you shamelessly try to suggest that you were right all along and that delegation was the right solution because this statement cements it somehow. And I'm trying to figure out how you get to that logic.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. This statement is the exact carbon copy bullshit we've been fed for the last God knows how many years.
And as soon as we stood up, if we'd gone down on Sunday, there would have been a statement on Monday. What would the statement have said differently?
I tell you what the first thing would have been, Sean. The first thing they would have said is, we're sorry. I bet you they would have apologized.
That's kind of what they said there, though, isn't it?
Where did they say sorry here? Not
they
once.
Said the word. I don't think they said the word sorry, but they're basically acknowledging. But talk is cheap, right? Who gives a shit what they say?
Look at the start. On Sunday, okay, they talk about the good atmosphere on Sunday. I have carefully thought about how to begin this letter, and in the end, that moment said it better, as in describing what happened on match day. It's why we owe you honesty. So what? You haven't been honest with us until now. Then?
Listen, I concur with you about the bullshit statement. It's bullshit. Right? I concur with you. The whole thing. I've said it before on my own channel. The only line that matters for me.
If we went down, the first thing I would have said is, "We're sorry, man. We are actually sorry."
So if they added the words "we're sorry," then that justifies relegation.
No, that's one aspect.
What else would you expect in the statement? If we'd gone down, what else would you expect in that relegation statement? Other than the same bullshit, we're going to do better. We're going to try. We're going to learn from this. We're going to build it.
Lange and Vinay would be gone. Lange and Vinay would be sacked.
Well,
AC Milan.
It looks like Lange has gone today anyway, right? Like it's like he's going tonight.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen the news, right? But AC Milan have sacked everybody because they never got Champions League. They've all gone. Complete clear out.
Yep.
Right? So we
all agree on that. We all want the same thing. We all expect, demand the same thing. Now, I'm not in any. There's no challenge.
All right, but I'm just telling you the things that I believe would have happened as a result of relegation. But listen, it doesn't matter because we've stayed up. They've put out this awful statement.
Yeah.
As a result of us staying up, and do you agree with me? If we went down, this would be a different statement.
Not meaningfully, no. I don't agree with you. I think it would be just more words, more. Listen, I think basically what I'm saying is that the statement as it is bollocks. Right? Talk is cheap every single time. Lilywhite, big up. I think that the only meaningful line in there. I know we had this conversation last night on the Spurs 5. By the way, go like and subscribe. But for me, the only meaningful statement in there was that they're going to back the leadership team. Although that looks like today, according to Ali Gold, that it's being revised, which is good news. That actually Johan Lang's future is not included in the leadership group, which kind of makes sense. But whatever, we'll see what happens there. But to answer your question directly, still, had we gone down, if you're thinking that a reworded statement that says sorry justifies the £250 million hit to our finances and then all of our talent leaving, I think it's a mental. It's like the logical link between your mind through is wild.
No, you're being political by saying, "Oh, I just want a sorry." No, that's not it. That's how it would have started.
I'm asking what would be different, and you said it would be. You say that they'd be sorry.
We would have been forced to start using these youngsters in the academy. We would have been forced from a financial
you don't know if they're any
perspective.
Good, though. I understand that you're a youth team expert. That's your stuff. That's your history. But we don't know if these kids are any good. So that's like
okay. But Project Youth for the last 2 years has finished 17th. Project Youth for 2 years has finished 17th. So rather than spending money on these youngsters that have almost relegated us twice, how's about we start using our own players that give a shit about the club and actually want to prove themselves? So that's one thing that would have changed.
But again, though, you're assuming that if we got relegated, that would be the case. And again, I'm not sure that is the case. And I'm not sure even if it was the case, it would have worked.
It would be because financially, we're going to have to start using the youth. We won't have the money to go and buy lots of players.
Sure. But like for me, I'm just sitting there looking at the teams that came up this year from the Championship, Middlesbrough, Hull, Wrexham, all the teams that were in and amongst the playoff stages. The youngest player that was a consistent member of any of the teams that were in the top 6 was Hayden Hackney, who's 25 years old. So youth players do not do well in the Championship.
They don't have a Class 1 category academy. None of those Championship teams
do. Do we know that we do? Do we know that we do?
Yes. Tottenham is a Class 1 category academy. Class 1.
Based on
5 metrics you have to meet, and we meet all 5. We're regarded as
a statistical thing. Okay, but how many of our youth team players are?
No. It's UEFA. UEFA set the criteria of what an elite performance academy is, and then there's category 1 to 5. We are category 1.
Okay, so
we're
on
elite.
that basis, so why aren't more of our youth team players playing regularly in the Championship?
That's the question. That's the question.
Because this club is run like a shit show, Sean. The whole club is run badly from a footballing perspective. Everything we do is bad footballing wise.
I agree with you generally that there's incompetence throughout the football club. I do, but at the same time, I feel like this assumption that because we see poor things happening and the regression of Tottenham from a top 4 team to a relegation candidate team, this assumption that therefore every single decision we've ever made in the last 2 years and every like choice, every assumption, every analysis on every single youth team player is wrong. I'm sorry, I have no idea, mate. Like, I don't know if Ashley Phillips is good enough to be a Tottenham first team player in a Championship title winning campaign. I don't know if Mikey Moore is ready to take on teams like Derby County, or not Derby County, bad example, teams like Wrexham, teams like Middlesbrough, teams like Southampton, just because he's very good, he's okay against teams like Hibernian fucking Thistle, or Hibernian, where you understand what I'm saying, Lou. But I don't know. I've got no idea. And like, I think this assumption that because we see general incompetence across Tottenham's decision makers, that every decision is poor, I think that's a stretch.
If you say, good evening, everybody, if you said, should we have bought Gray when we got George Abbott? There's a question. Let's see if you bring Abbott through. Just as one example. Donnelly got shoved out, didn't really get an opportunity. Did well at Orient, didn't get a chance at Stoke, was done okay at Oxford. The problem we've got is that there's no guarantee. You're chucking kids into a Championship season with 46 games, Saturday, Tuesday. The top teams don't bring through their youth en masse. Apart from United, did it once. Everybody else integrates them slowly amongst a team of seasoned, established professionals. Yeah, and that's how you bring through the kids. We don't even do that. We don't do that. The kids in the academy have not had a chance. On that point, I agree with you still. But to say that you're gonna all of a sudden it's going to be a seismic change, and all of a sudden you're going to have Phillips. It is because of Byfield and Akramovich up front on the left, maybe with Moore as the 10. I mean, it's
seismic events cause seismic changes. For us to take a £300 million hit, a 50% devaluation of the value of the club, and to have a fire sale, this is tearing Tottenham to pieces. They have to change.
Do you know what happens to companies? Do you know what happens to companies who make big mistakes and lose big money? Most of them go bust.
Oh, don't play that.
Those are
going to go bust. Lubo, I bet you West Ham don't go bust. I bet Aston Villa, when they went down, they came back up.
I'm hearing from a West Ham pal. They've got major problems.
Aston Villa went down. Aston Villa got relegated. Look at them now. I don't want to hear this. These cherry picking of examples to serve narrative.
Still, they got new owners in who came in.
Maybe.
Got
the size of something that Enoch don't want to deal with, and they said, "You know what? Sod this. Maybe we should cash out. Maybe."
Well,
but now, when you kept telling me, "Oh, Tottenham Hotspur, we've got a better chance of."
I've got to tell you, every company has its price. Every business has its price. Don't think for one minute that if those kids get an offer that they're happy with, don't think they're going to turn it down and say, no, let's just carry on. Let's just chuck several hundred million on players. Let's just chuck several hundred million on wages. Let's just take risk after risk. If they get the offer that they are happy with, they will sell.
They're not going to get the offer they want, Lou. But no one's going to look. This is exactly, Sean. This is what I mean, Sean. This is what I'm trying to say, right? I got this, and I still get this all the time. They will never sell in the Championship on a huge loss. They are more likely to sell in the Prem. Okay, yeah, but sure, this bit here, they are more likely to send the Prem. I kept being told, Stell. We've got to stay up.
That is true, but more likely doesn't mean will do.
And I said they're not going to. And they've come out and said the club's not for sale.
But then, so why do you, like, if you agree then that they're never going to sell or not in any mood to sell, then why do you push for this, like, you know, like every fan's the problem because they don't do what's necessary to get them to sell thing? Because if you understand that they're not going to sell, well, then you also implicitly recognize that protests don't make a blind bit of fucking difference.
No. Because I said the only way they sell, there's only two ways they sell. They get a ridiculous offer, which they're not going to get, because no investor is that stupid to pay way over the odds for an asset that isn't going to cash flow when they can invest elsewhere and get better returns.
Sure.
The only other way is for the fans to turn against them in masses, which I've accepted after this season. That is now not going to happen.
Again, I've always asked this. Show me an example of a Premier League team whose fans turned against them in masses, and that resulted in the owners taking a lower bid and accepting the move than what
they've never had to. They've never had to, Sean.
You're right. It's never happened. Never happened.
No. They've never had to, because no club in the Premier League has been stuck with the same owners for 3 decades. No club has been under control the way we have for this long. We are the only club in the Premier League that has got the same owners we started the Premier League with. The only.
But why does longevity equal a high likelihood of selling?
Because people have a tolerance of, right, we'll give you time, or all right, let's try and understand the ownership. All right, maybe they're trying to change it. We've had 25 years of it, Sean. We're different to every other team in the Premier League.
Regardless of that, mate. But look, go and look at the owner of Blackpool. Go and look at the owner of Hull. Go and look at the owner of Derby County. Go and look at Sheffield Wednesday. Go and look at Newcastle. Go and look at any football club outside of the Premier League.
They're not a big six club, Sean. They're not us. We're different. We're not,
you go and look at the amount of weight of public demand that the owners get out. One of the owners, I think it was Blackpool. Might have been Hull, but I think it was Blackpool, but I could be wrong. He went to prison for
Owen Oyston.
Well, one of them went to prison. Was it? Who was it? Was that Blackpool? Was it?
Owen Oyston, Blackpool.
He was for fraud, right? There was another one that went. There was another one that went to prison for weird things, right? And he both of their fan bases went mental. And the owners didn't sell. One, they came out. They went to prison. They came out of prison, and they're back in charge. So, like it's mental, and it's not that dissimilar anywhere else in Europe as well. Like, it doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter how.
Sean, the only change, which has been.
Hold on a minute, Sean. Luba, hold on. Luba, if our owners got done for paedophilia, there would be a massive.
I'm not sure it was that. But be careful saying that. You'll get demonetized. PDF files. But I'm not sure it was that specifically. But it was something. So one of them went to prison for fraud. That might have been the Blackpool guy that went to prison for like horrible. Like
Joe Lewis got done for insider trading in America.
Yeah.
No, right. But my point being, it doesn't matter what owners do. It doesn't matter. And if everybody turned against the owner, which happened at Blackpool, happened at Sheffield Wednesday, right? It doesn't matter what happens. The owners can have 100% of the fan base going, get out of our club, you're a disgrace. And the owner goes, no, I'm not going to sell my football club until someone pays me the money. It took Newcastle 15 years to get rid of Mike Ashley.
There we go. Sean.
Yeah, but it's just lunacy. It's lunacy right now, man, because the thing is, though, we're just now talking like, oh, we can't do nothing, so let's just stick to it because we can't do nothing at the moment. Well, that's lunacy at the end of the day. Like, and then people say that we're having a complaint about us saying that we'd rather go down, and then saying that litigation is gone dead. But then we complain about conspiracy, you know what I mean, about results and stuff, you know what I mean, and corruption and all that. So what do you want? What do you want? You know what I mean? You know, I just don't know. I don't know where we're going with this at the moment. You know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, sorry, I've just chimed in because I'm only going to be here for 2 minutes because I've got to go somewhere because I've got a life. The point is, though, is that it's like, I think at the moment is that we're sitting here and we're looking at it right now. Nothing's changing. Nothing's changing at the moment. Where's Still now? Is he gone? Has he gone?
He's still.
Yeah, you know, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. Yeah, I mean, I feel, you know, nothing will change.
Alex, what did you expect to change since Sunday at 6 o'clock?
Nothing would change. I was sitting there saying, just I don't care about the result tomorrow on what is it? What was on Sunday? But I sat there and thought, what does it matter? What does it matter if we stay up or go down? What does it matter?
It means an awful lot. It's a massive difference.
Well, it doesn't make a difference because at the end of the day, what's changed from today to from last when we stayed up? He's only just made a statement that was quite obvious what he was going to do. But Johan Lang, and not that it really makes a blind bit of difference if Johan Lang and Vinay are still here, because they could get somebody worse, because we've done that before. We've done that over the years. You know what I mean? So, you know, Alex, it's all promises and nothing to say.
Give up supporting the club then.
Pardon?
Give up supporting the club if you feel that.
I support the club, but I'm not. But there's diehards that then are telling me that you just need to back it and back it and back it and back it. It's like backing something that is obviously going to lose.
Sorry, who's backing what? Sorry, I'm backing who's.
Well, people just say, just back the because we've got the Zerbi. That's the best thing. We've got our coaches back the manager, but that's really worked out with the managers, hasn't it?
Well, let's see what happens with the Zerbi.
Oh, Lubo, with this lunacy, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen.
Alex, none of us are making the decisions. None of us are making the decisions. We've got to sit back and see what happens.
No, but Lubo, we know that we're not making decisions here. Let's make it. I mean, we're not kids here. We know we're not making decisions, but we can see what's going on. We're not stupid here. Come on,
tell me what's going on.
Well, you know what's going on. They're gonna make promises. They'll do a good summer this summer, right? Because obviously we're not in Europe. We probably might get into Europe. I don't know what will happen next season. Probably might get into Europe. Might get time. I don't know. And then next season you'll see what happens. The real thing, what really happens, isn't it? Because we haven't got we haven't got proper football people at the club. We haven't looked at it and thought, we need to do a reset, which we do need to do a reset. We haven't looked at it.
Well, listen, thankfully, we've now got a decent manager, so that's a start. That's the first proper football person in place. Let's see what goes on from here. Everybody knows we're short of any football knowledge and experience on the board. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows that. It's all been said. It's all been done. It's all been said before on all the shows. Everybody knows.
Well, everybody knows it, but we've been talking about it for so long now that it's just like we're just repeating ourselves. We're repeating ourselves. Like I said, I might as well. This is why I say, right, I get dumber and dumber and dumber being a Spurs fan, because we always talk about the same things and we think that we're talking something new. We're not talking something new. We'd say the same thing how many times?
Tell me what you want to talk about. Tell me what you want to talk about. We've just stayed up on the last day.
Whoopee.
Sorry?
Whoopee, we stayed up.
Alex, don't be rude. Don't be rude. I'm talking.
No, I'm just being honest. I'm being sarcastic. Whoopee, we stayed up. Whoopee, we stayed up.
It's not the sort of conversation.
I'm out of here. See you later, guys.
It's sarcasm.
I'm on with this shit. Take care.
I don't know. It was whoopee. We stayed up.
That's right. As a Spurs fan, you should be happy.
I don't know.
Well,
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But
if you feel it's completely hopeless until the new owners come in, if and when they come in, then turn it in, Alex. There's no point. What's the point? What's the point in supporting?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like
there's no point.
You know, I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that just shows you what John's all about. Anyway, he disappears because he knows he doesn't want to have a go at me. I don't really care anymore. But anyway, moving on. But like I said, I'm just saying what I'm saying anyway. I just that's the way I feel at the moment. Anyway, I don't know where's Stelios? He's just completely gone.
He's gone.
Oh my gosh, what's happened to him?
There you go. I'm jumping off. I'm going to go and have some dinner now. Catch you later, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh, I didn't realise the show was just going to be derailed like that straight away. Because I derailed it.
That's what you've done, mate. You've derailed the show. Well done. Well done.
Oh my gosh, where's Stelios? Gosh, I'm on my phone at the moment. I can't believe what's going on here. What is going on here? Gosh, right. All right, guys, sorry about this. I don't know what's happened to Stelios. What has happened to Stelios right now? I cannot believe what's just happened to Stelios. Stelios is just gone. I'm outside a tube station, and I didn't think it was going to happen like this. But yeah, big up to everybody who's watching the show. Big up to everybody who's watching the show. I'm hoping that Stelios is going to come back soon, because I can't just leave the show in the lurch like this, because it's not really fair at the moment. So it's just on Fortitude. You just got me for the time being on the show at the moment. Hopefully he's coming back soon. But yeah, I just wanted to chime in, because I just felt that this was, it's ridiculous that, I think for me at the moment, I feel numb. I don't know whether you feel numb at the moment. I don't know if you agree with the arguments. I wasn't even in the watching the show too much anyway. But I don't know whether you agree with what Stel says, or what Sean says, or anything like that. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well. In the comments. So I'll just big up to everybody who's watching in the show. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to Stel. I'm literally on my phone at the moment. That's the ridiculous thing. I'm on the phone at the moment. So I didn't expect this to happen. But everybody's kind of just gone at the moment. But big up to everybody who's watching in the show today. Yeah, you know what, Spurs, like I said, Spurs is Spurs at the moment. Spurs is Spurs at the moment. We're in a relegation battle at the moment. And that's it, really. Big up, Stel. Sorry, Stel. Are you back?
My internet completely crashed. Thanks for keeping the show running, Alex. I'm guessing Lubo and Sean have gone.
Yeah, they just left. And I just thought, well, that's a bit rude. Sean didn't even want to have I've left him anyway. I can't be arsed with him. That just shows you what sort of attitude he is anyway, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Just like he's having a debate with you, and then he just up to leave.
Park all that. I just no, my internet completely switched off. I couldn't even log into YouTube. So guys, sorry about that. Until I get proper internet set up in my house, this is the problem I'm gonna have. But yeah, look, Alex, just out of curiosity. Have you read the statement from Peter Charrington or not?
Yeah, I've got to go still, because I've got to go somewhere. But like I said, I'll speak to you later. Yeah, but I'll leave it with you now. I was only going to be here for a little bit anyway. But big up to you, man. Big up to you. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, mate. Yeah,
Alex, look after yourself. We're all good.
Safe, man. Take care. Yeah. See you later. Bye.
Take care, man. Bye. Alrighty, then unbelievable. I went from one person to 4 people, and now I'm back down to one person. YouTube, man, you gotta love it. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna finish off the statement, because I never got to finish it off. So the last bit here, where did we get to? We got to future has been speculation. Right, yeah. So Tottenham is not for sale, and my argument was, I knew that was going to happen, but I also knew that if we went down, they probably wouldn't sell either. So, but a lot of fans were saying to me, there's a better chance of them selling if we stay up. No, there's not. They couldn't give a shit. They couldn't give a shit what we think. Right. So this season has fallen well short of what Tottenham Hotspur demands. We must be in a fight with the best teams in this league every season, and we are rebuilding this club with that standard in mind. Right. I just want to break this bit down. This is a further sign of the lack of ambition, the lack of poor understanding of this fan base. All right, I'm going to bring in Savra in just a minute. I'll just finish off this paragraph. Oh, Lubo's back as well. What's going on here? what's going on tonight? I tell you. So, Lubo's coming by himself. So this bit here, might as well bring Sava then. So, hello, Sava. So this bit here that says the season fell well short of what Tottenham Hotspur demands. Fell short of what? What have we fallen well short of, people? What have we ever done to fall short of something? Right? It's stuff like this. There's no context. There's no, we want to win this. We want to achieve that. There's none of that. It's just, we must be in the fight with the best teams every season. We did that with Poch. We did that with Conte for a season. We did that with Redknapp. Is that what fans want then? We just want to be that top 4 club, that top 6 club. And we are real standard in mind. So their standard is...
Oh, Stell's internet is as ropey as Enoch, isn't it, Lugo?
And we must be in the fight with the best teams. Mate, it's a nightmare, Sava. It's a nightmare. My internet's absolutely awful. I'm having a nightmare tonight. But look, the point being, people, is we fell short of something we can't define, but we're going to build a team that competes with the best team, and that's the standard is to not fall short of what we don't know we've fallen short of. I just think the whole thing stinks. Sava, look, come in. You texted me to come in. Have your say what you want. Feel free.
You
have a statement. Good statement.
It's Braid wearing a pink Inter Miami shirt live, isn't it? But look, it was interesting. I was watching you, Sean, and Lubo have your chat, and then watching what Mr. Box Office said. No, I think you've got 3 different levels here. I think there's those that want it to change so much that they just believe it's going to. There are those that are just at their wits' end and are like, well, why are we going to believe it because it never changes? And then there are those that are kind of in the middle. What I would say is this: when you read that statement from yesterday, the first thing I think of is another statement. Do you know what I mean? Still, I'm like, oh, another statement, another lot of words where we go, okay, brilliant. What they have done there, though, for me, is this is the first time where they've actually come out in a statement and said, we are aware we have taken our eye off of football. I think I'm being kind there. I don't actually think they said that. I think they literally said, we have not been concentrating on football. But I think they've put themselves in a position now where the fans, and rightly so, are going to be every window going, nah, you said this. You said we're going to get back challenging. You said we're going to compete. Now, I don't think still that happens in one transfer window, by the way. Like, I know there's a lot of people that are suddenly thinking we're going to go from where we were to challenging. I don't think that's going to happen. But the same as anything, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. My mom always used to say that to me. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. They can say all these lovely things. It doesn't mean anything until we see it. Now, Lubo had a good point there to Alex's rant, which was, well, what did you want to see change between Sunday night and Tuesday night, right? But Alex has a point of, well, hang on, we hear this every year, right? So I think what they need to do is they need to get 2 or 3 signings wrapped up quickly. Show us that they mean. Do you know what I mean? Get Senesi in. If it's Savio you want, I'm not going to row about the players, but if it is Savio you want, get him in. Let's not do one of these ones where we're going to go back and forwards for 3 months. And that's what I think they need to do still to even begin to demonstrate that anything is different.
I've said until the patterns change, nothing changes. What are the patterns? Proper recruitment, signing quality, keeping your best players. The first 3-4 signings says a lot to me about where we're going, not leaving signings to the last minute. Until those patterns change, then nothing changes. Like if Ben Davies gets another contract, I'm De Zerbi out. I'm done already because it's the same. This statement is a sign that patterns haven't changed. But you're right. Let's see what actually happens now. Let's see what the next 3 months has.
Did you know what though? One of the things I asked for,
Sam, can I? You know what? Just to say one thing.
Oh yeah, go.
One good window does not cut it. We need to see 3-4 back-to-back years of proper transfers and squad building. It can't just be, oh, we've done well there, so we can drop off here. Let's do well again there, we can drop off again.
But Lubo, we said that on the show last night. We said this can't be that they go and deliver a really good summer this year and we all suddenly go, it's changed. And the problem is still, this is where you're bang on with it. And this is where Lubo he's not going to like what I'm about to say, but this is the difference. We could have a good summer. Lubo will go mad about it. As a fan like you still, you'll go, nothing's changed, right? And that's the difference. There are those that believe.
All depends on the players they buy, sir.
No. But the point is, Lubo, they could go and sign 5 world-class players. But I think the point, and tell me if I'm wrong, Stel, the point Stel's making is they can't go and do that for this window and then in January it's shit. It's got to be this window. January we had another 2. Next summer we had another 3 or 4. And players going out. Get rid of these crap footballers as well.
I did say yesterday that statement was a commitment to, in effect, they committed to De Zerbi for 5 years, which means it's a commitment to 10 transfer windows.
They said that when Frank came. They committed when Frank came in. They said we've given a 4-year deal. We've gone through this rigorous process. We've got it down to Frank. All our data says he's the man. That's why he's got a 4-year contract.
Still, they made the money available in January. They did. It wasn't spent because of the incompetence of people like Lange and Vinay, and to an extent Frank as well, for picking players.
Hang on. This is where I'm gonna hold people accountable for their bad opinions last year. I am going to, right? I'm going to have my I told you so moment, because last summer when I was sitting there saying this was not a good window, we did not sign what we needed, you sat there and went, this is the best window we've had in years, 4 first-team players. And the problem is, Lubo, is now it's
the expectancy level, though. That's the expectancy level.
That's not holding people accountable. The problem was, Stella's right. And for a minute, if people can forget the players and the managers they like or don't like, because, and I've seen Stell say this before, this is what I do respect with Stell, right? Is he said, I don't like Frank, but if Frank was your plan, like they said it was in your project, back him. But they didn't. Now we're doing it again. But now we're doing it again, Lubo, aren't we? We're doing, right, De Zerbi's the guy we believe in. We're going to say nice things again. And if De Zerbi is the guy, back him. Because what will happen? We'll have a couple of bad months. What will happen? Everyone will go.
I think after 2, I've got to tell you something. I think that after 2 17th place positions in the last 2 years, I think people's expectations would have dropped going into next season. I really do.
I don't think you know the fan base, mate. I don't think you know the fan base.
Listen, Sav, there's fans that are realistic, that look at the situation, and he's coming into a shit position. He's got to bring in God knows how many players, and it's going to take him 5-6 windows, I think, to get the team that he wants. So it's going to be a gradual. Hopefully, it's going to be a gradual climb up the table.
So if we finish 12th next year, fans are going to say, "Okay, that's all right for season 1. That's okay." I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think fans are going to accept, and unless we get to a cup final, and that kind of covers it a bit. But I don't think fans are going to accept.
This is my point, Stel. If you said to me now, Tottenham next season are going to finish 10th, but De Zerbi's allowed to bring in who he wants, implement a style, and then we're going to kick on again, I'll go fine. Just a bit of stability. But what's our fan base like, Stel? We could go 5 games in a row next year where we don't win, and people will start going, there you go, Enoch, bored of shit, De Zerbi shit. He's never won anything. It will go round and round.
I think if in most of the games we're competitive and we're losing narrowly by 1 goal, and everyone can say, right, we're doing all the right things, but we've still got crap attackers. That's the problem. I think fans will not turn on the manager But if we actually have some all right attackers and it's happening, then fans will say, "What's going on with this manager? This is what he did at Brighton. This is what he did at that."
Sure.
There's so many things that have to happen. For me, I don't think there's a world where Spurs finish 12th and the fans are going to accept that. I do not see that. I don't think they will.
Of course not, because what happened? The moment the season finished, Del, you look at how many people straight away went, next season with 1 game a week and with De Zerbi, we should be 4th. And you're like, whoa, we've just been 17th 2 years in a row. How about we have a little bit of time where we don't worry about league position? Like, and I don't mean 17th, but how about a little bit of time where we don't set expectations for this club with this crap squad, right? De Zerbi, I'll say the same thing I said for Frank last year, right? I'll say exactly the same thing. If De Zerbi is your guy, stick with him through the bad and the good, keep upskilling every window and allow the man to let go of the players that he wants to and allow him to bring in the players he wants to. But the fans are as bad as the board, because the moment there is trouble, every fan shits the bed because they don't realize how long it actually takes to change a football club. These football clubs don't change overnight. You don't go from having a shit squad that finishes 17th 2 years in a row to being top 3, top 4. And if you do, it's because you've spent bloody brilliantly. But I don't see us spending brilliantly.
Like Man U.
Yeah, but Man U went and spent 200 million.
Haven't they? They've gone from 15th to 3rd.
But they spent 200 million on 3 goal scorers, right?
But that shows you, Sav, that there wasn't as much wrong with it, that they underachieved massively to finish 15th.
And they fixed their goalie issue, which was massive. Onana was a disaster for them.
Right.
Onana cost them the Europa Cup final.
So Man United looked at their weakest positions, right? And went, where are we weakest? All right, well, we've got, let's be fair, whatever you think of him, we've got the best playmaker in the country. They have, right? In Bruno Fernandes. We've got the best playmaker in the country. Yeah. So why aren't we scoring goals? All right, our forwards are shit. Tell you what we do. Sesko and Buemo Cunha. Took them a bit of time to get going, didn't it? Took the first half of the season. Everyone, right, now look at all 3 of them. They're all flying, right? And Onana, as Stel said, he lets in loads of goals, makes silly mistakes. So they've gone, what are the 2 main areas? Stopping goals, scoring goals. Look at Tottenham. The main area is scoring goals. Last year, what did we do? Mwani. Tell. Right? Like this is what we did compared to what they did. But this whole notion that we're just going to, that fans are saying we're going to go from 17th to 3rd overnight. You've got to remember, Man City are going to spend big this summer because they always do. Liverpool will spend. Chelsea will spend again. Villa are flying. Arsenal are going to have the pick of whoever they want. They're the champions of England, right?
And City.
Exactly. So, look, I just think, for me, the proof of the pudding is in the eating still. I will start. I messaged you whenever we talked yesterday or today, whenever it was. I said, if they want Senesi, Robertson, Savio, whoever it is, fine, do it. Not talking about it for a month or 2 months. Get them in, right? So that when the season starts, we turn around and go, well, De Zerbi's had them all summer. De Zerbi's had these players all summer to work with them. I know there's a World Cup, but he's had them all summer to work with them, right? Let's go. But what did we do last year? We brought in Simmons with 4 days of the window to go. No acclimatization. We brought in Mwani on the last day of the window because Solanke went down injured. We got a DM on loan. For me, the only top signing was Kudus. So, has anything changed? I don't know. At the moment, no.
The thing is, a lot of these news reports as well, you don't know what to believe. You know, the Spurs is easy money for the journalists. They can put out anything they want, and we jump on it, and they get the views, the likes, the clicks. Everyone's all over it. It spreads like a wildfire. So the journalists know. Let's just. Oh, do you know what? Spurs are in for Haaland. Yeah. Wild bid. Oh wow! We'll believe it. We'll actually believe it.
Today, I have seen today. Right, we know the Senesi one is true, and we know that the Robertson one is true. We know that we want them, right? We know that we want Savio, right? Today, I've heard that Spurs are in for John Stones. I've heard that Spurs are in for Nico Gonzalez. I've heard that Spurs are in for Alex Scott. I've heard that Spurs are in for Locatelli. I've heard that Spurs are going in. Mate, it's crazy. So we'll see what they do. But this is a lovely time still. This is like when Ange came in. 1 game a week, no Europe. You've got the players on the training ground 5-6 days a week. This is a lovely time to build a new team, right?
I honestly think Spurs, there's a world where we can get top 6 next season, but everything has to align. No injury crisis. Kudus is fit. Simmons is fit. Maddison's fit. We signed 2 really good attackers and a proper holding midfielder in the 8. If all that happens and they all stay injury-free, 1 game a week, I see a world where we can get 6. I don't think that's all going to happen, though. There's too many things. There's so many. Luck has to really favour us next season. All these things have to land.
Stel, you and I have talked about this, right? If we don't go into next season, I don't care if we're playing 1 game a month, 1 game a week, whatever. If we go in next season with that crap forward line, I just don't care.
Oh, forget it.
Right? I don't want to hear that on the first game of the season against Hull, Richarlison scores a brace and everyone starts going, oh, Richie, this is his year. I don't want to get rid of them. I don't want to see Gray. I don't want to see Bergval. I don't want to see Tell. I don't want to see Odegaard. I don't want to see Davis. I don't want to see Romero. I don't want to see Papassar. Go and buy some proper footballers. Let's build a team next year. And you know what, Stel? The last thing, and sorry, I know I've talked a lot. It's because I've been at work all day and haven't had my fix of football chat. Right? What I don't want to see next year, right? I do not want to see the fan base talking about ex-managers. Can we just have a year where we don't talk about Frank or Tudor or Ange or Conte or Poch? Can we just have a year where we go, right, let De Zerbi do his thing? That's all I want. That's all I want.
See, De Zerbi has been in charge for 7 games and he saved us, right? He got 11 points. He saved us. Even with De Zerbi, just look at the situation, okay? In the 7 games, we didn't score against Sunderland. Against Brighton, we scored 2 goals. Who scored them? Porro and Xavi Simmons, a defender and a midfielder. Then we went and played Wolves. Who scored in that game? Paulinho. Then we played Villa. Who scored in that game? Gallagher
and Richie.
So it wasn't until that game one of the forwards actually scored. And then, you know, the game the other day that we beat Everton, a midfielder. All the points that De Zerbi has won us, mate, it's not the forward line that have been getting the goals, except for the odd game. It's the forward line have not contributed to us staying up, even with De Zerbi. So he needs forwards. Frank needed them.
Still, this was the case. The first 7-9 games when we were third, we were scoring from set pieces. Romero and Van der Ven were scoring the goals. That was the case. That was the case then. You know, the first seven games, we got 14 points. The last 7 games, we got 11 points, and the 24 games in between. What did we get? 16 points.
But the point I'm trying to make, Lubo, is even when we've got a manager that everyone seems to now like, even when we've got a manager who plays attacking football, and even we've got a manager that's got us passing better, even with that type of manager, he still can't depend on the forwards to get results.
No, of course not. He'll go out and buy. He'll go and do what United did, and he'll go and buy 3 forwards. That's what I reckon.
Hang on. That's a big claim. United spent 200 million on 3 forwards.
I didn't say how much we'd spend.
No,
I didn't say who we'd buy. But he will go out. I think he will go out and buy 3 forwards, a right wing, left wing, and
what caliber? But at what caliber, Lubo?
Well, hopefully, De Zerbi knows what he's doing.
No. But again, we always do this. Poch knew what he was doing and still bought in players like Nkudu, right?
So doesn't appear to be the wage cap that there used to be when you look at what the players who came in last summer are being paid.
I'll blow this wide open.
That does help us.
Lubo, hang on. I need to blow this out of the water, right? I think Spurs fans so easily use the wage cap as an excuse. I'm sorry, wage cap. Brentford scorers score goals. What's their wage cap, right? I'm sorry, Bournemouth's. What's their wage cap? Their forwards all score goals. Brighton, right? Villa. Like, sorry, I'm not hearing that we can only get these crap players because we pay players 200 grand a week.
We are now.
Fifth highest wage bill in the league. This is not a
wages. We've just started paying. You know, a year ago we had 3 players on over 100,000.
So how did Brentford score loads of goals?
How did Brentford score loads of goals? That's where good recruitment comes in.
But is it okay? So then we've got to the point. But
you don't want to go and get a really good up and coming 19-year-old or 20-year-old. You know, you don't want to go and get somebody who's untried that may or may not come off. You want
Prem Proven.
Sav, do you want Prem Proven? Sorry?
That's all you want. So, Lubo, when you tell
people Prem Proven players,
this is my.
When you tell people on the internet, sorry, Stel, when Lubo tells people you don't want to get young up and coming players, no, Lubo, I do, but they've got to be good, right? I don't want to bring in kids that for 2-3 years I have to hear excuses from people like you that in 3 years you watch. Bournemouth went out and bought Rayan, right? Rayan's gone straight into the Bournemouth team, scoring, assisting, and walked into the Brazil squad. We buy Tell, right? So, no, it's not about the age of the player. It's about the ability of the footballer. You always tell people I don't like young players. I've worked in youth football. I've got nothing against young players. We just buy shit young players. The other teams buy good ones, right? So that's my problem with it. It's not. Young.
Do you know what I want us to do? Do you know what I really want Tottenham to do? I want them to stop buying young players. I don't want us to buy any more 17, 18, 19-year-olds. If there's a 21-year-old, 22, I'm all for it. I don't want us to buy any more teenagers. No more. Just stop it.
Great.
Just buy proven talent. And the youngsters, like the teenagers, should only come from the academy. And the academy's job is to develop that talent so that it can get into that first team. If we can do that, find a world where those youngsters are the teenagers and that 20 to 22-year-old gap, we buy that talent in, and then everything above is just proven, then I think that's what I would like to see. But I don't want to see Tell 19, Archie Gray 18. It doesn't work.
Sorry,
17th twice doing this.
But the problem is, right, and this is one of the things, right? Right, this is one of the things where I've had this argument with Lubo for the last 2 years. When we say, and I agree with you, by the way. I agree with you. If you want to develop youngsters, bring them in gradually from your youth setup. But what Lubo wants us to go and buy Bergvall's and Grays, right? And Phillips's and Odegaard, right? And the problem is, what I've said all season still is, what that means is, how do we then have room for our young players when our first team players get injured? The first people in it are the kids we've bought rather than the kids we're nurturing. So if you're going to buy kids still, I've got no problem with it. Palace went out and bought a 19-year-old Adam Wharton. He goes straight in the team. He's in England's team in 6 months. Now, when you do that, I'm all over it. We're buying these kids who are nowhere near ready for the Premier League, and our fans are going, cool, he's good. Is he? We're Tottenham Hotspur. We're acting like we're Leyton Orient. Our fans just voted Archie Gray Player of the Season. That's where we're at as a football club still. Archie Gray, the player that got taken out by De Zerbi to save us.
Do you know what it is? The fan base is emotionally driven when logic is needed. When logic is needed, we go with emotion.
Yes.
That's why Ben Davies is still at this club. Like, he's a very average footballer, and he's been here for 11 years. Like
Yep.
Danzo, listen, I'm not a big fan of Danzo's, but I've seen more from Danzo in 1 year than I've seen from Davies in 10. But Davies is still at the club, gets contracts, you know. It's emotional. It's all emotional. Same with Archie Gray. He got player of the season because fans got emotional. Wouldn't it be nice for him to get it? Wouldn't it be a nice thing for him to have it? No, give it to the player who's been the best. Paulinho should have won it hands down. Paulinho's our player of the season all day long.
He was my votes, Paulinho.
Hey, hands down. Big up, Danny. You're all right.
Mate,
I'm good, boys.
I'll never ever understand this fan base. And I've said this for ages, the same fans that are adamant that Enoch needs to go, that Levy needs to go, that Lang needs to go, still crave these below par players to play for Tottenham Hotspur. And it's always this hope that next year there'll be, like already we started it, next year's a big year for Graham Bergvall. I heard that this year. I heard that last year. Bournemouth.
Bergvall's been badly managed.
Badly managed. Bad.
Last year. Sorry.
Okay.
He's the first manager that I think may well get something out of Bergvall.
Oh, but you're doing it again. And
no, I'm not doing it again.
And this is the problem.
Doing it again.
Okay, so tell me, what is Bergvall good at? Forget managers.
Progressing the ball well. He moves.
But he doesn't.
He carries the ball up the field. But his decision making when passing has to be improved.
But none of the data shows that, Lubo. None of the data shows he's good at that. None of it. No. And this is the problem for me, right, Lubo? This is the problem right here. When I said we will do exactly what we always do. New manager comes in and he'll get the best out of XYZ player that's not been good for years. And then we go again, and then it will be, oh, he's been managed badly. Have you ever thought just maybe that they're just not that good?
Well, let's see.
But what do you mean? We have seen.
We 18, 19-year-old kids, you can't turn around and say they're not going to make it. It's too young.
So let me in. Sorry, but Lubo, but this is the thing, right? This is the difference between...
It's too early, Sav, to write people off.
So, Lubo, listen to what I'm saying. We are Tottenham Hotspur. We are not a youth academy training ground, right? Why? And Fulham bring in Josh King and immediately he starts and he's good enough for the 11, right? Bournemouth, Rayan, right? Straight away good enough. Krupi, straight away good enough. Alex Scott when he went to Bournemouth. Wharton when he goes to Palace, right? Camvo at Palace has gone straight into the first team this year, right? No one's talking about them being young. O'Reilly, because they're good footballers. With us, your excuse for every young player is age.
Not every young player.
Hang on.
No. Let me finish.
Let me finish.
It that I want everybody, and you know that's not correct.
Let me finish. But it is correct, Lubo.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I didn't want Tell. I didn't want Oda Bear. So don't make that stuff.
I'm not. Sorry. 2 weeks ago, you wanted Tell. I've got proof.
No,
right?
Tell was in. Would you keep him? And
you said yes.
I'm looking at it thinking, is he breaking through now? He's creating goals. Yes. He's starting. Right. Let's see what happens.
But Lubo, the difference is, right? The difference is on the one hand, I want Enoch to act like a proper football club. I want to win things. I want to be a good club. On the other hand, every 19, 20-year-old, it's next year. Surely you've got to see something where you go, core, he's a good player. Like you watch Krupi at Bournemouth and everyone's going, God, look at him, he can play. I'm watching Bergvall play. Forget the system, forget the manager. I'm just watching his touch, his control, his passing. What does he do? What does he do that you have seen? What's he do?
Can I weigh in on this very quickly, right? Sorry. No, that's fine. I want to get Maz and Danny in as well. When Arteta joined Arsenal, they cleaned everyone out, right?
Yep.
And they were eighth. We're 17th twice.
Yep.
They had, at the time, youngsters playing for them. from the academy, right? Willock, Maitland Miles, Nketiah, Saka, and one other. I can't remember. All of them went except for one, Saka, because he was a standout talent that was playing for England as well. So if De Zerbi's going to be real and this club's going to get real, we have got to clear this out. And the only youngsters that survive are youngsters that show us what Gareth Bale did, what Kyle Walker did. If they're not at that level, I'm sorry, as much as I want youngsters to work at Tottenham, we've got to get real.
Yeah, but hold on.
They've got to go. They've got to go. Go on, Maz.
So, 1 sec. On Danny Rose and Kyle Walker, and they were shit for a few seasons before they came good. And they only came good because Pochettino made them good.
Yeah, but again, Saka was good, but he's become what he is.
I'm talking about Walker and Rose.
But they had good loans as well, Maz, didn't they?
Maz, no, fair point. Which is why I think the youngsters will stay at Spurs for De Zerbi to give them that 6 month, 1 year crack.
With De Zerbi, I've got high hopes for our youngsters, assuming that he keeps them, nurtures them, does whatever. But I agree with Sava. I wholeheartedly agree with Sava. And yourself, that you said earlier, still.
Arsenal's youngsters were better than ours, and they all got shifted out because they wanted to win the title. That is
because they've got their strategy was to continually buy better players every single season and try and blood in some of the youngsters within that system and see if any of them come good, right? And that's what happened. And where Arsenal are a much better run club than us, they realised that they weren't good enough and they moved them on quickly. Whereas we don't. We just hold on to them, like hoping that one day they're gonna. Yeah, next year is going to be good. Next year is going to be good, and we shouldn't be like that. Like Archie Gray, and I know he's Lubo's favourite, but it's coming to a point now where if he doesn't step on next year, because he's going to be 21, right? He's 20-year-old now. Get rid. Right? You've had 3 years at Spurs. Yeah, fine. 2 of those years have been a disaster.
Lubo, you're on mute.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
As a club, we need to say, we've tried that experiment. Off you go. Now, I don't think he's going to come good because I think he's a championship level player. And he's looked good when we've been really shit. And that doesn't say much about anything, to be honest with you. Same with Bergvall. Has Bergvall really improved since he's been at Spurs? No, he hasn't. He does a lot of running around. He looks very busy. I like his tenacity. The fact that he's not scared to get on the ball as a young man. But if he doesn't show anything this season, we have to get rid. We have to be ruthless with
Matt, can I ask you a question?
Get rid. Yeah.
So for example, if we use Gray and Bergvall as the example, right? Next season, we are playing 1 game a week, right? And if you actually look at the Bournemouths, the Fulhams, the Brightons, these clubs that genuinely, I know some of them have got Europe, but they genuinely play 1 game a week. Their 11s from week to week are pretty much the same, right? Barring injuries.
Yeah.
So next year, in a year where we're talking about buying 3 forwards, in a year where we're talking about buying a ball playing midfielder, and you've got Gallagher in there, and you've got Bentancur, and you've got Pauling, how do Bergvall and Gray now in a team where you're playing once a week? How do they possibly get that? And this is why I've been asking for them to be out on loan for 2 years so that they can actually go and learn the game and play.
Yeah. But then I think it's too late for them, right? Because they'll be 22, 23 by the time they come back.
Agreed.
Maybe we've missed the boat on them completely. I think my overarching point is that we should give youngsters a go if they're good enough. But if you know, in business, you know, they say you should fail fast. So if you fail quickly, because then you can react. But we don't at Spurs. We continually hold on to the dream that one day they're going to become good. Next year they'll become good. Next year they become good. And you know, we have to accept that sometimes that's not meant to be, and we should move them on. But then the overarching point is we shouldn't have bought them in the first place, considering where we were 2-3 years ago. Why did we do that? We shouldn't have. We wasted 40 million on Gray, or 30 million plus we got rid of Roden, and 11 million on Bergvall, when that money could have been much better spent on better players. But we don't buy better players. We just buy Tell and Odegaard and Dross.
Listen, that statement that Charrington put out didn't once mention about improving the recruitment, didn't once take ownership that the recruitment's been crap. Not once did he mention silverware or trophies. All the things that fans worry about, the fact that we don't win trophies, the fact that the recruitment is so bad, the fact that the scouting's awful. He didn't mention any of those things.
Yeah, but he comes across as an executive that isn't actually entrenched into the football club properly.
That's exactly what he is.
Because,
he's
right.
He's number two, isn't he? He's his financial.
He doesn't know anything about Spurs, right? This is why. This is why Vinay should have written the statement, because he's meant to be the CEO and he's meant to be running the club, right? But when you look at those 6 points that he put up, how is that a pathway to winning the league? Oh, we must build a better squad. Better squad for what? To finish 10th, to finish 8th, to finish top 4, to win the league, to win the cups, for what? What are we building for? Again, a plan. Where is the plan? It's all very well saying we want to improve. I want to improve, right? I want bigger muscles, but how am I going to get there? I want my stomach to shrink. How am I going to get there? It's all very well wanting all of these lovely things, but without setting a clear pathway on how we're going to achieve these lovely things, it's meaningless words. And actions speak louder than words. When are they actually going to show us rather than just tell us?
Of course. Cool. Great. Agree. Completely agree.
Yep. Sean,
it just can't be the same players every year. It can't. We can't do this every year, Maz. For years, we seem to constantly find excuses for, Maz. There's certain people that pick the one player that they love, and if everyone does that with every player, we'll never change the squad. You've got those that love Richie, you've got those that love Tell, those that love Odegaard, those that love Gray, Bergvall, Ben Davis, Solanke. Some people, how many want Mikey Moore back because he scored 6 goals in the Scottish League? Like we seem to have people that we're clinging to hope. I don't care about one individual footballer. Get me a good team. I'm not sentimental about any of these footballers. I don't care about it. This isn't a youth. We've treated this like an experiment for years, Maz. This has been an experiment.
Sav, we've had 4 kids out of 28, and you're talking about this is a youth experiment.
So
why are we not talking about the 24 senior pros that have let us down very badly this season?
Lubo, turn that hearing aid on.
Seriously.
I literally just mentioned Ben Davis, Solanke, Richarlison.
Okay. There's so many, but the kids just seem to get mentioned all the time, and they're the kids that you expect least from in the first team, not the most. They come in, they played a lot more because of injury.
They're being bought instead of pros.
Well,
by design, Lubo. They're being bought.
And that's
Spurs
wrong.
Last year went out and
completely wrong.
40 million rather than buying a proper left winger. That's by design, right? So, Spurs went out and spent 40 million on Gray instead of replacing Skip, Højbjerg, and Lo Celso. That's by design. So how can I not judge them? They've been bought for the first team. What am I meant to do, Lubo? Not judge them?
I don't know. Ange went after Gallagher all summer, the season the summer that Gray was bought. Had Gallagher been bought, would anybody be talking about Gray the way they were? They'd have said, well, Gallagher's come in, absolutely superb, playing in next.
Because of the price tag.
Yes,
well, but that's not his fault, Maz. Maz, that's not his fault.
I don't care whether it's his fault or not. We're talking about Tottenham Hotspur.
But you've got to blame Lange then for that.
Well, we do blame him.
I do.
Everyone in the Spurs fan base is united on Lange out. The whole fan base is.
Yeah, but
still, some of us are Lange out because we don't like his signings. I don't know. Other people seem to like all of his signings and then want him out. I don't get it.
I just. Do you know what it is? We were so excited from Eriksen, Dembele, Wanyama to now see Grays and that in there, it's like such a drop off for us. It's hard to accept.
Massive drop off still.
That's because Gray's not good enough, though.
No, but still, it's a drop off from 2017. You go through that Poch team that finished second. The drop off in every position is massive.
Oh, sure.
It's just massive.
Sure.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Owners that don't, they admitted it. They've taken their eye off the ball. They've concentrated on other things.
Why did De Zerbi drop Bergvall and Gray?
Because he needed experience for relegation fights. He did the right thing.
He needed to win games of football. Right?
Of course. You listen. You play.
Gray isn't that guy that's going to win us the games. Nor is Bergvall. That's the reality of it.
That's fine. That's fine. For me, they're kids that are developing. That's how I look at
kids anymore. They're not kids. We're talking like they're 16. Other Premier League teams have got younger players in the first team delivering. They're delivering. No one's talking about them being kids because they're good footballers. There's
also plenty of 18, 19, 20-year-olds that play that people are giving patience towards. Not every 19-year-old in the Premier League at every other club is kicking goals.
Sure, but the thing is, Sean, we went and bought loads of them. So we did it by design.
No, that's not the point you're making. Is that you're saying that you're making the point that because there are some 19, 20-year-olds in the Premier League that are kicking goals, therefore it's unacceptable that ours aren't.
No, I'm not saying it's unacceptable. I'm just saying if you are going to go and buy a youth player, first of all, don't go and buy so many. Second of all, how are other clubs buying better young players than we are?
Some of them are. Some of them have bled in well. Some of them have done appropriately well. By the way, have you seen Matisse Tell that everyone on the panel seems to hate? You know, like if you compared his stats when he was 21 to Heung-min Son's first season at Tottenham when he was 23.
Oh, no.
Oh, we're not doing this. Are we doing this?
Why not? Why not?
Because it's not just about stats. He's just awful to watch. It hurts my eyes.
Go.
He's the best ball we've got at the moment. That's fit.
Sean,
we'll have to disagree. I can't watch him. He's dreadful.
You can score you want. That's fine. I don't mind.
Go look at some stats when he was in Germany, and go look at Tell's stats when he was in Germany. Son was a good player.
Son came to Tottenham 2 years after the age that the Matisse Tell is right now. I'm not making the argument that Matisse Tell will become Heung-min Son. I'm just saying there is context, right? It takes time to bed in, and that not everyone develops at the same age. Look at Serhou Guirassy. Serhou Guirassy is about to move from Dortmund for 70 million quid this summer. The guy's just turned 30 years old. He's a late bloomer. Not everything happens in the direct timeline that people want it to. It's not always as simple as that. And to make out that because there is a couple of players that are 21 years old that are kicking goals in and around, mid-table teams or slightly better than mid-table teams in the Premier League, therefore that everybody by the age of 20 should be fully baked out and kicking goals. Otherwise, they're not good enough, and we should sell them.
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying that's what you're saying. Well, that's not. But that is the argument you just presented.
I just don't think they're good. You've got to see something, right? I've got.
You don't see anything in Matisse Tell. I do. So let's move on from that argument. That's subjective.
No, sure. But like when we watch, like we're Tottenham Hotspur, when we watch Tell get the ball, Bergvall, great. Listen, I'll chuck in Fulham, Richarlison, Solanke. Are they at the required ability for Tottenham Hotspur? No. Now, as I've said, maybe one of them, right? Maybe one of these young players does go on and develops to be a great player. But at the moment, only for me, I don't see anything in any of them where I go, oh, look at his ability at that age. He's going to be special.
You don't. I do. I do with Matisse Tell. I think Matisse Tell's got something in him. 100%. He's raw. Absolutely, he's raw.
Sure. I think he's one of the worst players I've seen in a Spurs shirt. But I
personally think that's the worst take I've ever fucking heard in my life. But let's not get stuck into
it. I just hate watching him. It's when Tell and Odegaard and Richie and Solanke, when these boys get the ball, my attention goes, well, this move's dead. Like, because other than the odd moment, technically none of them are good. Like, technically, the way they move the ball, the way they receive it, the way they shift into space, the way they take players on. It's just, I'll ask this still. You said at the beginning of when I came on, right? You said, what does Spurs want to be? I do not want to be a club where I'm watching Tell, Odegaard, Bergvall, Gray, Richarlison, Solanke, Papasar. I don't want Spurs to be that club. If other fans want that, I'm all for it. But then how can we then say we want to rival these other clubs who don't have these types of players in their team?
But Matisse Tell wasn't supposed to be the first team starter, was he? Neither was there was.
He was the only left winger we bought, so yes, he was.
Odebear was already a left winger when he first came to the football club. That's not true, is it? Okay. But my point being that the first team that we're looking at right now is riddled with injuries, especially at the top end. We can all make the same. We can all agree that the front end of the pitch needs a lot of work. But if you were to take out the Mohamed Kudus equivalent, the James Maddison the equivalent, the Xavi Simons equivalent, the Kulusevski equivalent out of most teams in the Premier League, and you were looking at their second string versions, you'd be sitting there having the same conversation.
I don't believe so. No, we'll have to disagree. The problem is, but Sean, the difference is Maddison didn't get injured mid-season. DJ Kulusevski didn't get injured mid-season.
Colin Mwani was a £90 million player that was supposed to come in and do things. He didn't do it.
I'm talking about those two. But we knew those two were out for a year. We had a whole summer to replace
Xavi Simons was brought in to replace Maddison. Colin Mwani was brought in to replace Kulusevski.
Sure, but we all know that for a player like Xavi Simons, he's not going to come in and be James Maddison. You're going to
know that. We don't know that. Well, you can make the same argument about Florian Wirtz, couldn't you? It took Florian Wirtz 7 months to become a good player. It takes time.
Absolutely, but
then there's other players that come in and land.
Still, Sean, I'm not saying they're not, but we went in that top end worse than last season. We went in worse than last season, right? Next season, we cannot do that. We simply cannot do that again. We have to learn our lessons from the last 2 years.
Sure.
We have to buy a proper left winger. We have to buy a proper centre forward, and we must buy a ball playing midfielder.
Is Savinho the left winger that we should be going after when he scored 2 goals? Was it 2 goals this season in 26 games? Everyone was furious when it didn't work out. Everyone was saying, pay the money if you want him. It's not about you, Sab. I know. Actually, me and you were aligned on this. But at the time, you and I were saying at some point we're paying too much for Savio. Right, it was 40 million, then we went back and it was 50, then it was 60, then it was 70, and then eventually Man City went, nah, fuck it, we're not going to sell him. At that point, so many Tottenham fans were like, just pay the fucking money, pay the money. He's world class. I was like, is he?
Yeah, but I think the difference is, but this is where context's really important, right?
What's he done at City this season?
But again, see, this is where context is very important. As a footballer, Tell versus Savio, there's Savio is a million times technically gifted. He's not
hasn't proven it in the Premier League to me.
Let me finish, right? But the difference is Savio is a bench player for Man City. So when you look at Savio, nearly every appearance he makes is a 10-15 minute cameo. I'm not arguing saying he's the only left winger we can go and get. But we have seen in years gone by, Savio, we have seen that absolute brilliant ability. Now, if he played week in If he played week in, week out for De Zerbi, the question will be, will that change because he's playing week in, week out and he's playing 90 minutes versus being a substitute in a Man City team that have to play against a low block every single week? I don't know. I'm not out here saying Savio's got to be the guy. But if that is your guy, Sean, as I said, if that is the guy that Spurs want, get him. If that's who they want, get him. Don't fuck about. Let's not be doing this in June, July, August.
Don't you think, Sava, that we'll be having the exact same conversation? Anybody that is anti-Matisse Tell and says we have to loan him out or at worst or at best sell him because he's not good enough at 21, when you compare and contrast Savio and his Premier League performances as a left winger for Manchester City, is it not incredibly inconsistent logic to make out like Tell isn't good enough, but Savio is?
No, because we've seen Savio win Young Player of the Year in Spain.
In Girona, different league.
Sure, but that gets himself the move to Manchester City. But again, I've got to point out here because people will make it out like I only want Savio. I'm just saying, I've seen when I've watched Savio play, you go, that's a footballer, right? Now the output.
Have you seen that in the Premier League though, Sava?
Yeah, no, I've seen, but again, if we're talking,
I'm not just asking you, have you seen it in the Premier League? Just a simple question. Have you?
Yes, we've seen flashes. We've seen glimpses of what this boy can do, but he doesn't play week in, week out for 90 minutes, right? That's my question mark against it. If De Zerbi wants him and brings him in and he starts playing 90 minutes every week, you see a better Savio.
Maybe.
At City, he's playing second fiddle to 3-4 better players, right? And I don't know. I'm not arguing he's the only one we should buy, but he is miles better than Tell at everything. That's all I know.
All I know is that Savio hasn't got the same output performances that Matisse Tell has this year on a played per minute basis or on a games played basis, whichever one you cherry pick. Matisse Tell wasn't supposed to be starting for Tottenham Hotspur this year. He is. I'm not making the argument Matisse Tell is a. Hang on, let me finish now. I haven't made the argument that Matisse Tell. I'm not making the argument. Never have made the argument that Matisse Tell is a well beater. But anybody that makes the argument that Savio should be signed, if you're making the argument based on the fact you don't think Matisse Tell is good enough and you are overriding and completely overlooking the argument that because he's 21 years old, that doesn't matter because if you haven't made it by 21, you're never going to make it, which is ludicrous, then you should be making the exact same argument for Savio in the Premier League. Like the logic has to logic.
Play week in, week out like Matisse Tell has this season.
Doesn't matter. He has had run of games in the Premier League. He hasn't done it.
He's played 90 minutes.
He was fantastic. He was fantastic in Girona in a different league. Brian Hill was fantastic in La Liga. You know, Lo Celso was fantastic in La Liga. There's plenty of players that are fantastic in that league that don't come to the Premier League and transition. And for me, I'm just saying, if Tottenham are going to go and drop,
you watch Tell and think he's better than Savio.
No, I'm not making that argument. I don't know how good Savio is, but I'm making the argument that if you are someone that's saying Tell is shit, get rid of him, he's too young, or he's proven that he's not good enough by this age, and that's long enough to know. But you are making the argument that Savio somehow is the answer. That logic doesn't logic.
But again,
I'm not saying you're not making that argument, but people are.
I think you take it to the extreme. I don't think it's about the answer. There are many players I would have before Savio. I'm just saying if Savio...
I'm just saying the argument generally.
No, I get it. But if Savio is the guy that Tottenham want, I'll be honest, there is no occasion where I'm ever picking Matisse Tell to play over Savio. Sorry, it's just me. I don't rate Matisse Tell.
If we pick Savio, and the argument is that's the player. You know, 1 second, sorry, Tyler. I was sorry, I want to jump off for a second. Just that quick. Let's quickly round out the argument. If that argument is if it's the player that Tottenham want, then go get him. Why wasn't that same argument afforded to Matisse Tell?
Because I think people have seen more in Savio than they have in. By the way, this sounds like he's the guy I want. You know, for me, I'd go and get Solis. Like I'd go and get someone like Solis from Club Brugge. If I'm going to be honest, I would have got Lookman. Right. What I'm saying is, I'm not. This is what happens on you. I'm not sitting here making the case that Savio is my number one.
I know you're not.
I just think he is miles better as a footballer than Matisse Tell at everything. That's fine.
Can I just add though that
I was about to say, man. You go, man. No, go.
I was going to say, can I just add, when we were going after Matisse Tell, I think most of the fan base were saying just put the money down and get him in, and they were getting really annoyed that he was potentially going to go Man United instead of us.
Correct.
Right, and I think the difference between, say, the Savio situation and Tell is that we had a glimpse of Matisse Tell right over that 6 months in his first season when he came here in the January, and I think most people made up their minds, including myself, saying that we don't like what Matisse Tell offered, yet we signed him anyway. So it's a bit of a different situation.
Well, not really. I think that deal was done in January. It was pretty much
fair enough. I don't know I don't think any of us will ever know the reasons why. I mean, I think it's maybe it's more obvious that Bayern Munich did a number on us and then twisted our arm to get Kane and Tell, for a different price that suited them or suited us in that respect.
Oh, fine. But
I don't think there's parallels. That's what I'm getting at, Sean, is I don't think there's parallels between Savio and Tell, because the situations between the two clubs are different. Tell is at a much more mature team that has much better players around them, and it's effectively a very small fish in a very big pond. At Spurs, everyone's a small fish. We don't have big fish at Tottenham Hotspur anymore, and he's not. Whilst I appreciate his tenacity, certainly in the last dozen games or so that I've seen him, and I appreciate the fact that he has tried to make things happen. I'm not seeing the rays of light that you see now. Does that make you wrong about him in the long term? No, I don't think it necessarily does, because it's too short of a time frame. He's not been enough of a regular starter to draw that conclusion. But the earlier point I was making was that it seems to me all of the top teams have this natural churn that happens regardless of which players there are, and only the really exceptional players stay at their clubs for extended periods of time. So when I see Man City's team, when I see Arsenal's team, when I see, name any of them, after 3, 4, 5 years, they clear decks and they bring in fresh blood.
100%. Players. Matisse been here 18 months, right?
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I said that it may be too early to draw that conclusion.
I think I'm pretty sure that Savinho's been at Man City longer than Matisse been at Tottenham. Is that right?
It's 2 years, right? Is it 2
years? 2 years.
I don't see how we
one thing. What's one come back, push back on what I agree with everything you said there, Maz, apart from the opening statement when she said there's no parallels. My parallel is, again, I people think I have a dot. Maybe I do. Maybe because I backed Matisse and I'm starting to see some green shoots in the last. Maybe I've got, because maybe it's an ego thing. I want to see him. I've got maybe a bias towards him more than I should do because of the banter or whatever, right? But what I would say is I do think there's parallels, not necessarily comparing the two players, although obviously they're in the same sort of position, similar sort of ages, similar high brand, high profile children that progressed, emerged, and then maybe haven't broken through the ceiling that was promised to the world of football. I think it's fair to say that Savinho was also flattered to deceive since he's come to the Premier League, I believe. Maybe you disagree. But I think where I'm talking about the parallel is what happens if he comes to Tottenham for 50, 60 million quid this summer and he doesn't do it. I believe that there will be people that will reverse engineer their logic and they will pivot away from Matisse and they'll criticize the football club for signing another child who hasn't proven it.
And that's where...
And I think that stuff will happen. But right now, the conversation is Savinho is clearly levels above Matisse. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. That's a subjective thing. But if he comes to Tottenham and he doesn't kick on, those same people will quickly forget what they said now, and they'll turn on the football club for once again buying a child that hasn't proven it.
Yeah, and that's where I absolutely agree with you. That's why I think buying Savinho now is the wrong thing to do.
Me too.
For Savinho and Tottenham Hotspur. So I absolutely agree with you on that. What I disagree with you on, and which is where I agree with Sav, is I do feel Savinho is a much better player, but
I think you're probably right on that.
I think there's more value to be had elsewhere. In the scenario that we're in at Spurs now at the moment, is I think we need to be bringing in players that don't have the pressure of having to perform in the sense of he's coming from Man City, he comes to Tottenham, he's the big fish in the small pond because he's come from Man City. I don't think at this point in time that's good for Tottenham Hotspur. I think we need to bring in players that are of a similar ilk as what we did with Van der Ven, as what we did with Son back in the day. Clearly really good players. Clearly they're worth their money. Right, and they can improve Spurs, but they don't come with that what's the right word that I'm looking for here? That aura,
the gravitas, the aura,
gravitas. Yeah,
I hear you. I think we're on the same page. By the way, I think we are on the same page, all of us, including me and Sav. I just personally don't think that Savio. What was it? This season he scored 2 goals. Last season he got 1 goal.
Do you know
when I was using
I've never said he. I feel like people in the chat now gone, Savio wants Savio. I'm saying if he signs him,
we're just having a debate.
Do you guys not think that Savio is better quality than what we've got?
I think that Savio has potential, but I don't think he's proven it in the Premier League. Last season he got 1 goal and 2 assists. This season he's got 2 goals and 3 assists. Okay, it's not insignificant.
He got 8 assists in the league last year.
He got 1 goal, right? He didn't even. When I was doing, hang on 1 second, Lee, but let me just finish the point. When I was doing my Y Scout filtering last summer, right? And I remember Sabo, I was talking about this with Sabo all summer long. I was talking about Lookman, I was talking about Garnacho, I was talking about Anthony Gordon. There was 4 or 5 players that were head and shoulders like needle movers for Tottenham. And Fabio never even cropped up because he was entirely filtered out by the very basic levels of what it is that we at Tottenham expect from a forward, which is goal output contribution. We haven't had it from Mohamed Kudus, right? Mohamed Kudus, he scored 2 goals and 4 assists or something the entire season. Right? Solanke's had a fucking dog shit season. Richarlison's our best output. Did he break double figures? If he did, it was just barely. Yeah. Matisse Tell, 4 goals and 4 assists, whatever it is. Odebear, I know he was barely fit.
Sean,
like,
there are players.
There are scenarios. We do want wingers, do we not, that have the ability to put the ball in the back of the net?
There are scenarios where a player fits a manager, and that manager puts his arm around a player and goes, "You see what you did there? Come and do that for me here." Now, listen, I'm not just saying Savio. We've seen examples of this of Marcus Rashford. He's shit. He's gone. He's rubbish. Flick puts his arm around him and goes, "Mate, you're a good footballer. Come and play in our team. I want you getting in those positions," right?
Look at Bentancur.
But also possibly a Premier League proven player goes to the Spanish league and it's a little bit easier.
Sure, but we see it work both ways, right? We see players that go out there that don't do anything. My point is, it can't be that every player that hasn't performed at one club will never perform at another club, right? And this is where, when we just use GA, the thing for me is Savio, for example, if we're just using Savio, as I've said, there's players I would take before him, Lookman, Solis, right? People like that. Someone like Savio, you can see it, right? When I watch Savio, you can see it. When I saw him at Girona, when I watch him get the ball, even the other night, there was a game where he absolutely destroyed, I don't know if it was... Man City played someone, he absolutely tore them a new one out wide. Yeah. And that was like, wow. And you go, right, with the right manager, could this guy turn that raw talent into output? Now, I don't know.
But that's a hell of a lot of hypotheticals that if you're going to pay 25, 30 million quid for a player, that's fine. Take the risk. But for 60, 70 million quid, which I don't know what Savio's worth this year, but last year we tried 70 million quid and got nowhere. Right?
But some of them work though, right? Like, if the problem is, if we're looking for people that have proven GA, really high proven GA,
it's not going to happen.
Can name them? Please, can someone name them right now?
Guys,
also, let me just say something. Let me just say, hold on, Lubo. Hold on, Lubo.
Solis has got a really good scoring record.
Solis absolutely has.
I absolutely rate Solis, but that's the Belgian league, right?
And coming back to what Sean was saying, with Savio, he's had nobody can say that he hasn't got a bloody good manager behind him. Guardiola's one of the all-time best.
Yeah, but no.
Let me finish. At City, they create so many chances.
No.
Hang on.
Rubbish.
Hang on. Let me finish. City creates so many chances. So when you sit, and I don't know the breakdown between starting and substitutions, but his stats for City are played 75, scored 5, and assisted 12 assists. He's got 17 in 75. Now, playing for a team like City, I'm sorry, mate. If he can only get 17 in 75 for City, what's he going to do for us?
Now, Lubo, okay, let's see you answer this then. I don't.
How many times did he play?
I don't disagree with you, Lubo.
26 times this season.
But the difference is,
and how many minutes?
I add some context to the GA, right? Now, the context is when you watch Man City play, every single 90 minutes, Man City play, teams put 2 banks of 4, their wide men get the ball, and they don't have any space to run into, right? Now, Savio comes on for the last 10, 15 minutes of games where teams are trying to see it out. As I said, I can't guarantee that changes at Spurs. I can't guarantee it doesn't. What I asked you, Lubo, was name me players now then that have got really good GA that Tottenham can go and get over other clubs on the left wing.
I'll tell you right now.
Can I say something? This is ridiculous.
No, but I want an answer. Hang on, but no one ever gets to answer. Lubo, please, this is my point.
Okay.
Go.
All right, fun enough. I mentioned a few months ago. I mentioned when he burst on the scene, and you laughed at me, Diamondi. Now he's way out of our life. He's way out of our life.
Yeah, but he's not achievable. So,
but someone like Solis, we couldn't go in with a great offer, money wise, wages wise.
Sure. Solis,
and what will people over there, doesn't he?
Sure. So, Lubo, I agree with you on Solis, but what will people say if Spurs go and sign Solis from Club Brugge right now? It's
league. Yeah, but Sava, it doesn't matter what they say when you sign him. It matters what happens when he starts to play. Do you not also conceive or perceive that there is a huge risk that Tottenham fans will flip into what have we done? We're making the same mistakes with Savio if he doesn't turn up, which he hasn't done in the last 2 seasons.
Sean, I just want to stop you guys there because I feel you're being a bit unfair on Sava. He's not saying any of these things.
I've not said anything that accusing me of
You are making the argument that Savio.
Why don't you still man his argument? Still man his argument so we know what.
Sean,
I'll still man Sava's argument 100%.
Spurs fans are clueless. They make videos about how Solanke fixes the press, how Archie Gray is generational, how this player's going to... For me, with Savio, and I want Danny to come in. Right? With Savio, I find it frustrating watching him play at City because Pep is the wrong manager for him. I watched Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, who was one of the best free-flowing old school wingers that took on players at Villa, go to City, and it got coached out of him. And I got frustrated because Jack Grealish was raw. For me, Savinho needs 2 things. He needs to be allowed to play on the left wing and stay on the left wing.
Yes,
and he needs to be allowed to just take on players and not be dropped. Just give him 20 games in a row on the left wing. And do you know what? There's a player.
Perfectly.
That got taken out of him at City. And I saw the same thing with Jack Grealish. I thought the Jack Grealish at Villa was better than the Jack Grealish at Man City, in my opinion.
Yeah, different.
I was just going to say.
By the way, Pep Guardiola is amazing. He's amazing.
Name some players that have got output that you could bring in. How about Somerville from West Ham?
Hold on.
How about Pellegrino from West Ham? How about Pellegrini from
I like
Roma?
Somerville. I take Somerville.
Wait a second.
How about Raspadori from Atalanta?
But even Somerville
How about
is
the fella
not
from Leeds? How about the fella from Leeds? What's his name?
Sean, I would take all of them over what we've got.
What's the guy from Leeds?
I would take all of them over what we've got.
Sorry, I don't know why you lot are like poo-pooing Savio. It's ridiculous.
Is it Okafor?
It's ridiculous. We've got fucking Tell as our left winger, and you lot are saying no to someone like Savio. Who do you think we are at the moment? We're a club that's finished 17th in the league in the last 2 seasons. And we've got someone at Savio who might be underperforming due to a manager's system, right? Doesn't take away the fact of the quality of the player and the fact that they wanted to keep him. The only reason he's been out of the team is because they've got bloody Doku and bloody Semenyo, right? And Turkey you can play on the wing.
Why did they buy Semenyo?
Even levels above them.
Why did they buy Semenyo?
Because he's more.
Because he's
Semenyo's more.
He's one of the best players in the league.
Savio didn't turn out to be what they thought he was going to be.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
How old is Savio? How old is Savio?
22. It's not a fair.
22 years old. And what? So 22 years old. So what? You're writing him off like you can't use the same argument.
You are with Tell, Danny.
You can't use. You can't. No, I didn't. You fucking idiot. Listen to what I've always been back. Tell. So don't chat shit. Fucking idiot.
Danny.
You just said we
use your ears, sunshine. Use your ears.
You don't need to shout, Danny. You don't need to shout, mate. You're screaming through the microphone.
I think we're getting lost in translation.
Danny just comes in like with
guys. I think a lot of this is getting lost in translation, right? If the question was, who is the one player you want this summer on the left wing? If my answer had been Savio, only Savio, he's the greatest winger in the world, I get it, right? My issue here is, I think he's better than Tell, which is what I was asked, right? Is he better than Tell? Yes, I think he is levels on Tell. Now, is that through GA? No, but I agree with Stel. When I watched Savio doing his best work at Girona, it was when he had grass to run into and allowed to run at players one-on-one. When Man City play, And this is the difference between a Semenyo, a Doku, and a Savinho. Savinho wants to go more on the outside, right? Savinho wants to do that, and he's doubled up on.
He's an old school winger.
Doku and Semenyo are brilliant at coming inside and getting goals. Now, right? If you watched him at Girona, Savio was brilliant. Now, is he that same player? I don't know. Could a new manager unlock that? I don't know. But if De Zerbi buys him, that's De Zerbi's job to do that, right? And then you're saying to yourself, the difference will be, I'm just playing devil's advocate, making an argument for it, right? The argument will be, all right, Savio, you're the left winger, right winger, don't care where. You're playing 90 minutes once a week. Go and do what you do. You're not playing 15 minutes at the end of a game for Man City with 10 men behind the ball. You're playing 90 minutes. But if it's not Savio, I don't care. Go and get a left winger. But I don't think there's a load of them that we can get that are very good.
Would you rather Savio right now for 60 million or Somerville for 30?
Somerville for 30.
I'd take Somerville for 30, sure.
Okay. Would you rather Savio for 60 or Okafor from Leeds, who's 24
I wouldn't
years
want Okafor from Leeds.
Different position.
That's another
I like Okafor, but again, it's for me, it's levels. Like I think Okafor good.
Let me throw some other names out at you then. Let me throw some other names at you.
It's just so funny that all of you like De Zerbi. Yet if De Zerbi signs a player like Savio, do you not trust him to actually improve him like he's improved?
We're just having a conversation.
No, I know, but Savio, I would.
By the way, can I just say?
Hold on. Still, one thing there. I don't give a fuck how much the players cost. All I give a shit about is we bring in quality. I don't. That's the thing, right? All of us, we're the only team that focuses on how much a player costs and what we should spend and what we shouldn't spend, right?
It's an important consideration.
It doesn't really matter.
It does matter, mate, because you can't go if you spend 60. It does, and here's why. For the argument, for the hypothetical, if you're going to drop 60 million pound on Savio, it means you don't have 60 million pound or 70 million pound to put onto the 9 that you really want. It means that you then, if you do that as well, if you somehow raise the money for both of them, it means that you don't have the 60 million quid for the 6 that you, or the 8 or whatever it is that you need. It means that you don't have the money elsewhere. So whilst it's not our money, for the purposes of the hypothetical of what the rebuild requires, there is some consideration around how much of a imaginary budget we can actually participate in. By the way, Somerville is not the only option out there. Raspadori at Atalanta went to Atalanta and banged in 8 goals in 6 months. Okay, unbelievable left winger when he left Napoli. There's plenty of players. I still think you could go and bring in Ademola Lookman if you paid Atletico Madrid enough money to bring him out of there. What about?
I don't really want Lookman, to be honest.
Fine. What about Pellegrini at Roma? What a player he is. What about Arnal Loriente from Sassuolo? What a player he's been since he's gone there. There are dozens and dozens. It's the most saturated position in football. It's right-footed left wingers. There are like so many of them out there to make out like Savinho, it's settled science that it's worth the risk. I think it's mental. I think it's okay to debate and to have a conversation without assuming that anybody is saying I want him or I don't want him. I don't see the problem in sitting there and considering, are there better options out there? And are there the same risks associated with signing another unproven Premier League player like Savio, who's a young kid, just for 3 months later, everybody to forget and ignore what they said in conversations like this, and then go, oh, Enoch's done it again. Didn't learn any lesson. Too many children. No more kids. All that shit will happen in September if he doesn't come out of the traps with a fucking hat trick on the first day. You know how this fan base works.
By the way, I don't want to hear this conversation. I'm seeing it in the chat as well about, the Spanish league's different. Therefore, sorry, Xavi Alonso went to Liverpool aged 22. Cesc Fabregas was a kid and was one of the best midfielders. Santi Cazorla was an absolute baller on the wing from Spain. Mate, Spain produces quality players. It's whether the manager and the team suits the player.
Well, some of them land still. Some of them land. Some of them come over and they can't handle the
best players in the league landed.
Still, 68% of the Premier League is foreign, right?
100%.
I don't go down this route
of
come from another league. You're either good
enough
or you're not.
There's a hell of a lot of Spanish players that do well in Spain because they're lightweight and they don't get the same pressure on the ball they do in the Premier League. Imagine, like we saw with Brian Hill, right? Tore it up in Spain on 2 or 3 different occasions. You put him in front of a Newcastle. You put him up against who's that? The lunatic midfielder at Newcastle. what's his name? The Brazilian guy whips everyone. Joel Linton.
Joe Linton.
What's going to happen? Yeah. You don't get Joel Lintons that frequently.
Brian Gill hardly played for Tottenham, Sean. He hardly played for us.
Yeah, but then you have to look at players like Bernardo Silva,
he was playing every
David
single week
Silva.
in Spain. He was playing every single week.
Not everyone's as lightweight.
Luka Modric was
no one's saying that everyone is lightweight, but there are a lot of occurrences of talented players from Spain that can't handle the physicality of the Premier League. If you guys disagree with that, I don't know what we're doing here. That is just
that's the same as any nation. Like there are players that can and there are players that can't handle every league. Like lots of English players can't handle the technical ability of the other leagues, right? Sure. I get it. There are horses for courses. But the problem is, if we're just going to, I think people are, where I find it a bit disingenuous is Savio was brilliant for Girona, but it was in Spain. But then we go, okay, well, let's get, and by the way, I like this guy. I've said it a million times. Let's get Solis because he's brilliant in Belgium. Let's get Raspadori. He's brilliant in Italy. This is why I don't mention the league that they come from. For me, it's got to be, I think we're missing a key part in all of this. What type of winger does De Zerbi want, right? We talk about it because we've had so many different systems for 5 years that we don't know what we're going to do. What 11 does De Zerbi want? What style of play? Does he want wingers that get the ball and counter-attack? Does he want wingers that get the ball, beat a man and cut in? That will be what drives it. It's not just GA. It's got to be the right.
I think Sabra as well. I think we can all probably agree that he is looking for people who are good on the ball, who are not scared of being on the ball, and who are very technically gifted. Right? I think they're the main things he's probably looking for.
No,
whether or not
he
wants.
I think
the main thing he's looking for, DK, is can they execute? Right? When they're on the ball and they're doing their silky skills, is there going to be an end product? Are they decisive? That's for me. That's what De Zerbi typically goes for. I think he hates players, right, that don't like look good on the ball, but don't do what he wants them to do. Right? If you're going to beat your man, and then have an end product at the end. Don't just beat your man for the sake of beating your man, which is why I don't think Tell's going to last under his system. Which is why
maybe not.
Yeah, which is why I think that he's going to get fed up with like people like a Doji. Do you see what I mean? He wants people with end product. That's my opinion. That's how I read De Zerbi over his career.
I think you saw just I think it was one passage of play against Chelsea in the first half last week that you could see the sort of football that De Zerbi's trying to bring in. Ball came to Bentancur in midfield. He played a very quick ball to Porro, who played it first time into Moani's path. They dissected three players and put Moani clear down the right from the halfway line. The end product was horrendous, but you could see 1, 2, 3, bang, and he was away. And it was very quick, very technical, very close control and movements. And I saw that and I thought, you know what? I haven't seen that from Spurs for many years.
But I mean, I think it's telling that Roberto De Zerbi came out and said he can only trust 11 players, right?
Of course it is.
Yeah,
and I can't believe he trusts 11 of them, Maz.
Well, he's got to trust someone, I guess. I guess he needs to field the team. But because that instantly tells me that Richarlison's
he's gone. Richarlison's gone.
Closer is Tell Odibert, Solanke's, they've got no future at this club because they just don't execute. They don't.
Still, I've got to drop. Still, I've got to drop. Can I just say one thing before I go? By the way, guys, right?
We're going to end in 10 minutes anyway.
I'm not. I've got to drop though, but I'm not fighting for any particular player apart from one position. If Spurs don't go out and buy a ball-playing midfielder this year, I'm going to cry. If we start with midfielders again, I'm all right for one of them to be box-to-box, Gallagher running around or Paulinho. If we don't go out still and buy a Wharton, an Anderson profile, not those two, but a profile, a Locatelli, a Stiller. If we don't go and get that one guy,
Manu Kone.
I don't think it matters who plays. But guys, much love. Keep the peace. And don't let Lubo tell you Gray's any good. Don't let him while I'm gone.
Thanks for coming on, Sarah. Appreciate that. Did Sean jump off as well?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 down. Look, we're going to go for another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to wrap it up because I'm 2 hours ahead of all of you lot, and I still haven't had anything to eat. I started the show talking about Peter Charrington's statement, and we went on to the whole transfer. Who should we get? Who should not? I want to end it on that. I want to end it on the statement. The general feedback I've sensed across the fan base is that most people feel we've heard this all before. More corporate guff, not interested.
Yeah.
What? Let me ask you this question, and then we'll wrap it up. I'll start with you, Danny. We'll go around. What do you need to see this summer to truly believe this is now different? Like 2 or 3 key things you need to see.
I think I want to see quality. I want to see quality players brought in 3 key positions, right? And I'm talking Premier League ready players, right? In the striker department, in the left wing, and a ball playing midfielder, right? For me, and I don't care how much it costs them, but they have to be players that instantly go in and improve the first 11 instantly, right? And players who are good enough to compete in the league. And for me, I want those profiles to be technically good players, because I think we've had too many years now with players who are scared of the football, and I can't watch another season of players who are scared to have the football at their feet when they're professionals. So that's what I want to see. And the other thing as well is, I think we have to have. There's got to be a lot of players coming in. A minimum of 6 players for me. I won't be happy if there's anything less than 6 players coming in, and all of quality for me. And it doesn't matter if there's a kid that's 22 years old, but he's like an Akliush quality type of thing, or an Ndai, someone like that, then I'd be all for it. It doesn't, because they're very good players. So that's what I want to see. I don't want to see the Odebez brother or Nkudu's brother or players like this. You know what I mean?
Archie Gray's brother.
Yeah, I don't want to see Archie Gray's brother.
He's very good, actually. Got to tell you.
Oh God, here we go.
Harry Gray's very good.
Poor Nkudu, he's left us like years ago, like a decade ago, and we still bring him up.
Yeah.
You know what? He basically, he's the benchmark of shit at Tottenham. Like, that's what you compare it to. Like, that is.
Yeah.
You know, what, Maz? So for you to buy into 2.0 and to actually think things are going to change, what do you need to actually see? Is it just better players, or do you need to see a bit more than that? And if so, what?
Maz, before you go, can I just add, one thing? For me, what I would love to see is De Zerbi at the end of the transfer window come out and say we had a very good window. Like, if a manager comes out and says he's really happy, and you can tell, like, it's not just bullshit, that he's genuinely happy with his players, then I'd feel that, okay, they've done what they should do for him, for what he wanted, right? Because if we go in and we buy like 2 or 3 players, and then we get like good players, and then we get 2 or 3 youngsters who are like the potentials again, right? Or they're not the level of like an Akliush, for example. Then I think that it's just going to be the same against that. We all know it, right? So that's the other thing I wanted to add. Sorry, Maz.
Maz, go for it.
Yeah, I don't think that I can ever buy into ENIC just because of the history and the baggage that they have.
And that's the correct answer.
Yeah. However, what I would say is what I would like to see, let's say, assuming ENIC's going to be here forever, is I want to see players that have substance coming in. So along the lines of what Dan said, is that, let's go out there and get a Manu Kone if that's possible. Let's go out there and get a Pellegrini or Locatelli. Let's go out there and get known, established players that might not be the elite level, but it may be a step below, that we know who they are and we can get behind. That's what I want to see. The number. I also want to see those established players coming in the right positions. So it's blatantly obvious that we need 3 forwards. I mean, I know we've got Kudus, and I don't think Kulusevski is ever going to, unfortunately, play for us again. But we've got Kudus, but we need to replace Solanke and Richarlison. We need to, have a first team pick over Tell on the left. If he plays that format 4-3-3, we need a creative midfielder, a number 10. Seeing as Xavi and Maddison are injured all the time, effectively. That's what I want to see. If we start buying, I don't know, another right back or even a left back, I don't think they're the critical positions at the moment. I also don't want to see us getting the same players we were linked with a few years ago, because that just signals that the club are making the signings and that Roberto De Zerbi isn't getting his own way. Now, it could be that Roberto De Zerbi wants Savio, whatever his bloody name is, right? And he said, yeah, I want him, bring him in. But it's unlikely, I think, that he would. So they're the things I want to see in the immediate term. But the main thing is that, over above any player that comes in or any on-field stuff, is that I want to see a change at the top, i.e. Lange has to go or Vinay has to go. I doubt Vinay is going to go, right? But that's what I really want to see.
Yeah.
And again, I want to see a sporting director that has pedigree. I agree with what you said earlier, Estelle. That Dortmund guy, Kel, whatever his name is, I don't think he's got that great of a track record. And when you look at what the Dortmund fans think of him, and I had a little look, I was curious. So I don't know much about him. I think he's rubbish. So we're going to get another sporting director that isn't good. That's what I want to see.
Lubo, where are you at with what is it you need to see to give Enoch a chance?
Well, first of all, they've got to get rid of Vinay and Lang. That's the first thing. If you want to run a football club properly, then the people that are running it have got to be proper people and not idiots, not incompetents like these two. So for me, they've got to go. Just looking at social media today, evidently Kel is not a done deal. They're possibly looking at Dougie Freeman again. I think would be very, very good. You look at Gay, say Eze. It's just loads, aren't there? Munoz, that this guy's found for very little money. If you're going down in terms of the type of player we need, then we need leaders. We've hardly got any leaders in the dressing room. Romero's a poor excuse. You've got Gallagher and Polinia. That's probably about it. We need more leaders. I'm not against someone like Andy Robertson coming in, because he may be at the end of his career, but he will bring in a professionalism right the way around the club. In training, preparation for training, preparation for matches, talking to players. He'll be the sort of player that the youngsters can look up to and listen to. He's been there, done it, seen it. In terms of players, 3 forwards for me. I think you'll see we've got, if they all come back fully fit over the next, Simmons is out for some time, isn't he? Maddison, if he gets himself fit and they can keep him fit, if they can get Kulusevski back, Kudus will come back. There's plenty of creativity there, plenty. So for me, I'd like to see 3 forwards. I'd like to see somebody like a Sandro Tonali who would come in, or a Locatelli who would come in and run that midfield, control the game, play the game at the tempo that he plays at, that the team needs to play at. Defence, just so a keeper to replace Vicario. Kinski, I'd like to see Kinski given a run next season. We may just
same here.
we made, you know, I was one that I was scathing about him. You know, I was stood high up behind the goal in Madrid, you know, just looking at it, thinking, is this some sort of bad dream going on? You know, the kid's head's gone. It's just, but, you know, full marks to him. He has bounced back after a major humiliation in front of the whole of Europe. And his form has been one of the reasons why we stayed up. So for me, I think he deserves a chance. I'd like a second keeper in who is going to challenge him. It can't be somebody like a Forster, but have somebody who will challenge him. You know, if it's a Trafford, maybe it's a Trafford. You know, you're not going to get players like Kelleher or Henderson who are going to leave regular first team football to come in as number 2. So which is why I've looked at Trafford. Defence, you've got Porro and Spence. Romero will go. You've got Senesi, hopefully, Van der Ven, Danso and Vuskovic coming back. If he comes back, you've got your 4 there. And at left back, you've got Udogie and you've got Robertson. So I think the back 4, there isn't too much that we probably need to do with having brought in Senesi and Robertson if they arrive. So you've got those 2, 3 forwards, and Locatelli or a Tonali or another 8 who will do that job. So for me, that's 6 players. I think he will get rid of 7 or 8. I think Mwani but it sounds like Polina are going back. I mean, if Polina does, then obviously I think we need a 6, which makes it 7 players. But I think you know, Davis, Solanke, Richie, Sarr, Romero.
Libo, do you know what I love about you? Libo, do you know what I love about you? I asked you, what do you need to see from me, Nick, to believe in them? And you've told me how you
that's what I need to see. Still, that's what I need to see. Quite a bit, isn't it? Quite a bit.
Yeah, but I think it's
quite a bit
to say, Lubo. What would you like to see this summer?
This summer,
not like over the next 5
okay,
years.
16. All right, 16.
Is that
Sum it up.
Lubo, where did you go on holiday?
Can
I tell you about this movie I saw the other day? Go on, I'm joking. Go on.
16, 8 out, leaders in the camp. Lange and Vinay gone. That for me will be a great summer.
That's a massive overhaul if they do it. I guess that would be a sign of intent as well. If they did that, it would be a sign of intent.
It would be.
Yeah, no, it would. It would.
And all the money that goes up that comes in on the players that are sold, plus X amount, take it up to 200 million. That shows intent for this season.
Can I just say, there's a strong possibility that nothing like this would happen. Just when we always say this every single window. This is the window. This is the time when they have to do something, right? And we all, you know, go on, still you can say, but they always let you down.
They always let you down,
right? And I've got this feeling that we may bring in 2 or 3 players, and there'll be like the Robertson will come in and the what's his name, Sensei, however you say his name, right? They'll come in, but anyone else, I think we're going to get bitterly disappointed.
Right, Lubo is hoping for some of this.
Absolutely. Listen, we do it. Do you know what? It's the hope that kills you as a Spurs fan. We do it because we love the club. And we just have hope. There's no hope. We just hope that. You listen. We'll never get more than maybe.
There's no hope with these owners. There's no hope.
I think
we can get some 4th or 5th.
If we get all of what Lubo says, I think Lubo needs to get the Ric Flair hairstyle. You've got to do it, Lubo.
You've got to do the walk as well. I want to see.
You got to do the. You got to come on.
Listen, if we get everything that you said, I think every Spurs fan will be happy, and 100%. I will buy you a wig, and I will. In fact,
you have to come on.
I will give you the details. I'll give you the details of my hair transplant guy, and we'll.
I'm not sure. Listen, I know. Sean said to you that he was going to go with it last night on the show. No chance. Listen, been this way for many years.
Sean's doing it. Sean's doing it as well.
More than happy. I'd come on with hair and everyone would laugh. It'd be like, who are you? You know, so.
Call you Rick.
Flair.
No.
Yeah,
you're Lubo
Flair. Boy.
Lubo Flair, yeah. Lubo Flair.
Right, so I've got to jump off, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap up as well in a minute. I'm just going to let Dietrich speak. Maz, big up. Guys, check out the Spurs Corner. Check out Savage Channel, Football Heritage, Sean Talk TV, Spurs Talk TV. Check out on chat. Dietrich, listen, I am going to wrap it up, but you can have a say. Go on. I brought you on because you came, so go for it.
See, it's always the Arab that has less time. Oh my.
Oh, Arabs are late arriving as well, aren't they?
Yeah. No, for me, to answer your question, I would love if Spurs can just find a way to get like those free agents, like if they can go like get like those like premium free agents. I'm just like gonna mention names like Vlahovic, Senesi, Goretzka. I would take him. Even John Stones as a backup center back, I would take him for his leadership. I'll even take Harry Wilson. He had 10 goals and 7 assists this year. Like, those are the kind of players we need. We need those leaders. Like, we need players that actually understand what is about winning, what is about like setting standards. And for me, in order to have hope with Enoch, which I know it's not going to happen, if we manage to get, like, I'm just going to mention him, Manu Kone, Nusa, like those type of players, like those calibers. I'm not saying the superstars. I'm just saying like one step down, like those stars, like borderline stars. That's when I'm gonna have hope. But I know it's not gonna happen, and we're gonna have a disappointed season.
I've until I see it, I don't believe it. That's my take on it.
Like honestly, if I see we get what's his name? Is it Somerville from West Ham? I'll be freaking mad.
Why? He's a good player.
It's not about being a good player. If you told me he's like a bench, like a squad player, I would not have an issue. But if he's our main starter, it's not a good player. It's not what we need right now.
Why would you not want to start him over what we've got?
No, I'm saying like what we got has to go, but we need to get 3 levels above of what we got.
What about
like
Savinho?
I would take Somerville. I think Somerville's a good player.
I like Savinho, but I don't think the Premier League suits him. But I do think he's a good player, but I don't think Premier League is made for him. And if we get like, let's say, I'm just saying like Antonio Nusa, for example, he's killing in Germany. Like those are the players we need. Like young, hit the ground running. They're gonna attack the players. They're good dribblers. That's what we need. And for me, Somerville, like he's a better version of what's the guy's name? The left winger? Odeberg, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I mean, if we could sell Odeberg and bring in Somerville, I'd prefer that.
Oh mate,
and then we still add another player.
Like it would be sick if we can get like I know it's like fantasy land, but if we can manage to go buy Barcola from PSG, like that would be like my kind of player. But I know it's not gonna happen. No, I know. I said that's like my dreamland. No, that's the dreamland.
You know, out of Tell, Odeberg, Moani, Solanke, Richardson, and Kudus, I would only keep Kudus. I'll literally get rid of everyone.
Me too.
Do you know that's what Klopp did when he went to Liverpool? It's what Arteta did when he went to Arsenal. All these 5 year, 6 projects, all of them. Go look at all these 5 or 6 year projects where the results came after 5 years. Even Fergie took him 4 years, whatever. They all cleaned out the entire squads. They cleaned out everything. Took them a bit of time. Look at Poch. Look at the team Poch inherited. Look at the team we ended up with 4 years later. He cleaned it out. Poch cleaned out.
I got to jump.
I'm going to wrap it up, Danny. I'm going to wrap it up.
Right.
Guys, thanks for watching tonight. Appreciate all of you. Thank you to everyone that came on as well. Make sure you follow all their channels. Big up. I'll be back on the Spurs 5 with Lubo and Johnny and whoever Lubo gets in as a guest on Thursday night. Come check us out. And then on Friday, I'm doing a show on here comparing Enoch to the Cronkies. You might not want to watch that because it's not going to be an easy watch, but I'm going to be honest. But there you go. Big up. Have a good one. Take care. Until the next one.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.